Welcome back to episode 13 of the Unpaid and Underrated podcast by crew, for crew, and incessantly mocked by crew. We're joined today by my co-host, as always, Big Keith,
Howdy, howdy.
and our special guest, Big Jason, also known as Man Who Parks in Gym.
Nice. Well, Joey, you did forget to introduce yourself, though. That's the only
Oh,
caveat about
me.
that.
I mean, everyone knows who I am. I'm Big Joey. I'm always here.
Yeah, big American Joey. Welcome to the podcast, my friend. Glad to see you again. It's been a minute. It's been a whole seven
Yep.
days. Anybody drink anything special this week?
Um, well, I've got a refrigerator cigaretter,
Ooh,
which
get
is
you a
not coming up
Diet
on
Coke.
camera.
One of those
Yep,
4 p.m. Diet Cokes out there.
as well as a limoncello LaCroix,
Nice.
classic.
So I don't have anything fancy here, just regular grape Waterloo. But today I was one of our clients, offered us some drinks, and she had sparkling water. It was an unflavored Trader Joe's sparkling water. It was fucking amazing. I know we've talked about the Liquid Death plain one. I think Joey and I both agree it's probably their best one. And this was literally, I don't know if it's just because it was like it caught me in that like it had been a couple hours since I had anything to eat or drink, and it was just like thirst quenching. So maybe it was like over embellished how good it was just because of like how it hit me. But damn, it was good to the point that like next time I'm at Trader Joe's, which it's like once a year maybe, I'm definitely gonna look for it. So keep an eye out for that. But that was pretty on point. How about you, Jason? Anything consuming any good liquids tonight?
Not really. I mean, I did drink a bunch of liquids right before this. I don't know why I did that, but
He's
I
got to
had one
pee
of those.
so much tonight.
No, yeah, probably. That has nothing to do with the fluids and just the fact that I'm, 45 and I'm sitting on my prostate. But I had one of those, those Nuri, it's like ultra filtered milk or something. It's supposed to be like a protein shake.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. I
Costco.
think I actually talked to someone about that recently.
I had one of those. The vanilla ones taste like melted ice cream, and they're pretty
Hmm,
good. I mean, they're not bad.
Oh,
a
that's pretty
decent
good.
flavor.
Yeah.
It's like
So
a good description of like that's something I think people would like potentially want to eat.
it really like my kids don't like it, but I think it's pretty good. As
Yeah.
for if you've had, I think if you lived through like the 90s um, supplements, like vanilla shakes and stuff like that that don't mix well or they don't whatever, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I think my first intro to protein was whatever Walmart's really cheap budget protein was like 10 years ago. I want to say it was like Shield or Force or something
Right.
with some combination of that name. And it was
Right.
just because it was like cheap. I could buy it would like $20 would last me like 2 months or something. Just having three or four shakes a week. But
Yeah.
yeah, the shit that we used to eat for sure is to hit protein goals. Whereas now it's like I don't want to do anything unless it's my fucking nice like $3 a bottle what the fuck what's the shit,
Fairlife.
yeah, the Fairlights from Costco, they're like 30, but
Yeah.
those are just like on point. But just the convenience factor, it's like we kind of become spoiled of wanting shit to taste good and be convenient for sure.
Yeah. For sure.
You wearing anything fancy over there, Joey?
Oh, I've got the classic 8-bit strongman tee. For anyone that remembers my original episode of Unpaid and Underrated, that was the one of the t-shirts that I missed out on.
Oh,
And when
nice.
they brought it back, I snagged two of them to make sure that I would never
Ah,
be without it again.
that's smart. I do need to throw another one on my wish list, maybe, just because I'm to that point now. It's like I'm running out of like under $50 items for people to buy me for like birthdays and Christmas and stuff. So like that's a good one to have on there because I have one, but like it's like one bad decision at the strongman gym away from like being covered in tacky or something. Like even if I'm not intentionally trying to
Mhm.
get tacky on myself, like a lot of their yokes are covered, or a lot of their like random strongman equipment that shouldn't necessarily have tacky on it still has tacky on it, and I'm like fuck. So you'll be a little careful with that. I got the Buddy Light on the comfort color tonight, just rocking that.
Nice.
Eh,
I'm wearing a Welltown t-shirt. It's a brewery in Tulsa.
nice, nice.
Oh,
The king of breweries, if you will.
Yeah.
Let's see. What did we? Oh, so they're coming up. If you've been watching the social medias and whatnot, or listening to any of their pre-show, I think the line in the sand has definitely been drawn on the crew gift. I believe it's pretty much like they're going out soon or actively going out. We saw Jack packaging them up the other day, so maybe I'm not sure if we're going to see
Mhm.
him this coming week or the following week, but sometime in the next 10 to 15, I'd say 7 to 14 days, there should be some gifts showing up. Anybody have any guesses? They've dropped some hints and whatnot. But mainly on the pre-show, so it depends on how much pre-show you've made.
I haven't been getting greasy on the pre-show, but I'm
No,
just
no.
assuming that they're daisy chains. With all this daisy chain talk, it's the perfect crew gift.
Yeah. So one thing they did mention, I don't remember if it's in Discord or just on I think it might have been I don't remember where he said it, but it's like not everyone's going to get the same one. So there's been some talk of like, is it this or that? And there's been some good guesses, but I don't want to use other people's guesses per se. Like I, when Tanner was on a couple weeks ago, he may or may not have shown us some brief clips of something. I still don't think we know what it is. It's just, I saw a card with something on it that I don't know how that is going to correlate to what the gifts are and the gifts being multiple. So I don't know. We'll see. But I could see some true, regardless of what they end up being, the fact that there's going to be a variety. So maybe say, like, just for instance, maybe there's like three different things they have, and like each person gets one of the three. I could see people maybe
Hmm.
trading if they wanted the other one or something. So like in person crew meetups, there might be some bartering possibly, and it's a good time to be a household of two crew members too, because you double your chances of getting what you want. My luck, Tanner's going to send me and Stephanie the same goddamn thing. So hopefully, hearing this, he'll probably do it out of spite and as a joke, but hopefully he doesn't. But yeah,
Yeah, that was a big mistake revealing your desire for two of the three,
yeah,
assuming it is
that
something along
is
those lines.
yeah. Well, Nate can edit that part out, or maybe Tanner won't do me wrong. We'll see. So that takes care of that. Joey and I don't remember one of your podcasts. You've been on many a podcast as of late. Did you see you and I don't know if we talked about it before or not, but like you and I had a very similar helicopter ride in Alaska to a glacier experience because I did that.
Uh,
I did.
I yeah, I did not realize you had that experience. That's pretty cool.
So yours made it sounded like was yours a landlocked glacier or were you like out in the ocean?
Uh, no, I think the glacier was landlocked. I mean,
Okay. Yeah, mine was
we
too. So
started on a cruise ship, so
yep, same. Yeah.
the helicopter picked us up out there, and
Yep.
pretty sure it was a landlocked glacier. So
Yep.
yeah, we
I
weren't
think you
out in
and
the
I
middle
did
of nowhere.
basically the same thing. I did it in like fuck 2010 maybe.
Which part of Alaska did you guys go to? Like the up,
I did a cruise and we hit like four of the main ports. Like oh, I don't
like
Hyena.
like I mean, like did you go like Anchorage and up through
I did
California?
Seattle up and then back down.
Okay,
So
okay, okay. Yeah, see, that's
Yeah.
I didn't go that part of it. I went up to I've been to like Bridge and all the way up to Fairbanks, and then a little bit. There's a place just a little bit north of there that we went to. And I keep thinking about it because Joey's Northern Lights background there. That's what we went to do this like Northern Lights tour, and it turned out to be
Hmm.
like a snipe hunt. It was basically us getting locked in a van with some dude named Ricky that like he just wouldn't give it was obvious there was like it was real cloudy and stuff, it was just really obvious quickly that we weren't going to be seeing any of these northern lights and he just kept I think he was getting paid by the hour or something, like would not bring us back. So
that's
we were at
frustrating.
this little place. It was a great trip though, man. I'm always like people I feel like Alaska is one of those things that people wait until they're really old and like unable to like they're immobile and stuff like that.
Hmm.
It's out on some of the best parts of it, I think, in that way. But
Yeah, I think I was like 25, I think, when we went. So probably, fairly able. I remember zip lining across like an old abandoned mine thing was freaking awesome.
Yeah,
With
I did
the
a zip line thing when I was there too.
nice.
So
So
yeah, a lot more fun when you can actually do that stuff.
yeah.
absolutely. Um, well, what's speaking of something that might not be as much fun, how'd the big move go, Joey?
Oh, I mean,
Or how
for
is
the
it
most
going?
part,
I'm not sure where you're at
yeah,
on that process.
for the most part, pretty good. There was a couple of things for the gym that didn't make it, which was actually just the plywood that went under my deadlift platform to help level it out. If anyone has the Rogue deadlift platform, they may be familiar with this.
Like that's still in Indiana, just like
So
leaning up against the garage door and no one knows where it is. Or like
no, it's they're pretty sure it made it to a warehouse, and the warehouse guys mistook it for
their plywood.
something that they just used, like their own plywood.
Gotcha.
So gonna get the moving company to reimburse that. But otherwise,
That's very
I don't know, I'm
strange. So
feeling
it didn't
busier.
just go in a pod and just get dropped off. Like they like took it somewhere and then like fucked with it and then
So most of our stuff got taken on a single truck, but because of the timeline, they probably didn't pack the truck as effectively as they could, so we had like a small bit of overflow, and so that overflow stuff had to first get transferred to the warehouse
oh, okay.
and then placed into like a pod. Um, so as part of that, that went missing. Thankfully, that's the only thing so far that we know is missing. Um, but yeah, the worst part about moving so far is I feel busier than Keith or another dick over here. Just we're still unpacking boxes. We're trying to organize everything. We've got a bunch of projects going on at the house, fixing stuff up. So I've barely like I really haven't been able to set up the gym yet.
Like at all?
So my
You
current
at least
plan,
like throw a rack up or
yeah,
anything?
yeah. So my current plan is to set up a few of the horse stall mats, set up like a 4 post rack
Mm-hmm.
so I can at least do some like squat bench and dead on that. And then it'll probably be a little bit longer before I get the full gym set up, but I'll try to post pictures with my interim setup
Yeah, that's gonna be tough.
once it's up and running.
It's like okay, you put in your 10 hours, your 8 to 10 hours for Netflix, and you're like, do I want to go outside and like work on my garage for 9 hours today, or just kind of chip away at it? And then like meanwhile, you're
Mhm.
trying to like set up bedrooms in your bathroom and your kitchen and all that. So like the gym is like trying to talk to your partner to be like, can I go to the gym while you do everything in the house by yourself? And then it's like, so that probably doesn't go
Yeah,
over very well.
that's not a
So
winning
yeah,
conversation.
no,
So
no, no. So that but yeah, I think if you can sneak away and put a couple hours in to just build yourself a entry level gym, I think you'll be good. And then work on it as you get the time.
yep,
Let's see. Did anybody watch the Tommy Reppin YouTube video that came out this morning?
I didn't get a chance to watch it yet.
Yep, I watched it, but it's like I don't know. I've seen a million Reppin videos. I'm never gonna buy Reppins. I don't care. I don't know. It was well done, as always. But it's just it's maybe they'll get a couple rep sales out of them. That would actually probably be a decent click. Like someone uses your link and actually buys a $1,300 pair of Reppins. That's probably got to hopefully net you like $20 or something. I don't know. I'm not sure how small of a percentage that actually is.
I don't know, but I think if there's anybody that's gonna get get people to use their link, it would be them. You know what I mean? Like it's hard
For
that
real.
getting people to use them, and there's no incentive to do so, no
No.
motivation incentive to do so. It's really tough world out there in the affiliate.
I still think like if everyone just you had a code and you gave 1% off, like and then like the person got more on the back end, like the company doesn't have to give up like even 1%. Like someone would go to like I mean 5% minimum is nice. Like everyone wants it at least
I,
10%, but if you had just said 1%, because 1% on like $1,000, it's that's not nothing. So
I
um,
believe that a lot of people would probably sacrifice some of their own earnings to give an incentive for people to use their code or their link. You
yeah,
know
that's
what I mean?
that
Like
Hmm.
makes sense.
even if it's a link, like a code, the thing that sucks with codes for the company is that people who have really good like SEO, search engine optimization awareness and stuff like Coop, for example, he's really good at that. They can maximize on that just by putting something up there with their code or whatever. And then whenever somebody goes to Google Pepins or whatever,
Hmm.
Coop will be the one that pops up there. And they're just looking for a code. They put that in there. And so that's that's where it's hard for the company to give. That's why they're
Yeah,
giving codes that are discount codes and things
makes
like that.
sense.
Because they can't then pin it. They can't. They have to pay this guy for his ability to
Be popular.
outdrive
Yeah, yeah,
outdrive
or
the others on Google or whatever. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? But it's like,
it's almost a monopoly at that point too.
well, but at the same time, it's like I mean, I don't think that I can't imagine that like Rep's motivation is to demonopolize the affiliate game, but it's just a matter of I really think it comes down to not wanting to pay
No.
out more than they have to. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they thrive. I mean they know how it works, and they do um, benefit from all of those people that buy without using the link. You know what I mean? And they kind of bank.
Hmm.
So I mean it is what it is. It's not. I mean I'm not suggesting that they're all the devil or anything like that. It's just how the game is played. And I don't know. For right now, it's one of those things where like the best analogy I can come up with it is like when you it's like tipping your waiter, except the difference between your affiliate guy is that he's not getting paid a minimum wage if you don't tip him. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
tip doesn't cost you a dime. You know what I mean? Like these people, Coop and Tommy and Tanner and anybody that's making these kind of videos for with affiliate links and things like that, they're spending a lot of time. They have a lot of expertise. They have a lot of experience with several different products and stuff to be able to put together these videos to get it in front of people to captivate an audience to maintain an audience and things like that the shit you have to do to grow a channel and whatever and then for next to nothing. I mean it can be very lucrative. I think a lot of it, but you can't pay your bills with a free pair of Pepins, you know what I mean? And at
Yeah.
the end of the
Hmm.
day, like you can't I mean, it's just not sustainable to try to buy everything. I mean, I
Well,
know that's what that's what Gluck does with a lot of things. I don't think he does. I'm pretty sure I heard him in his Smart Arm video say that they sent that to him and that he probably wouldn't have purchased it otherwise. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
well,
But
it's definitely a good thing that we pay their bills with our $3 a month times
for
eight
sure,
800 probably. Either 700 in Discord, but I bet
yeah,
there's got to be at least call it 750 because I know there's at least 50 to 100 people that aren't in Discord that pay their monthly dues. So that's definitely a decent amount of money, and they deserve it. And I'm glad that they don't have to rely on the affiliates. But if they can bank another few hundred
for sure,
dollars,
for sure. Yeah,
I don't even know if they're probably not even making a couple $100 on affiliates. If they can make another $100 a month or something on affiliates, just to give them, I mean, they're already doing the content, and they're doing the content for the YouTube, money. So
and
if they can get a little bit more on the other end, that just helps them out and keeps this going because they're
yeah,
not
for
going to,
sure.
they
And
won't continue to keep putting the work in and bringing the podcast that we enjoy if they're not
exactly
making, a couple grand a month off of it.
they're providing people a service. They're giving people entertainment.
Hmm.
They're giving people a content that they enjoy, that they love. They're giving people, your lift hard, lift easy stuff. I mean, it's a community. It's not just affiliates. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It-
Hmm.
The Lift Hard Live Easy as seen in North Dakota apparently by one of the new crew that wanted to answer someone's question that just Googled Ramkota and saw that there was a Ramkota in North Dakota and told some other new crew, yeah, the Lift Hard Live Easy is in North Dakota. And I'm like, what? No, dude. Like, do you
It
listen to the fucking podcast? Did you watch any of
it's
the
North
recaps?
Dakota adjacent.
Yeah. I think he just Googled, and it was like Bismarck, North Dakota was like the first one that came up. So he was just like, that's where it is. And I'm just like, and another person, I don't know. It's just like getting used to so many new crew that are in Discord that apparently don't listen to the podcast very in depth. Like, I don't know. I'm still wrapping my head around that one. But I don't know.
Discord's a weird place, man.
Yeah.
It's like walking into, for me, it feels like I'm walking into a really, really big and crowded room where everybody is having a conversation, and I'm just trying to like see if I can just bump around and find one that I go,
Yeah.
hey,
Oh.
interject myself in, or I just start shouting until somebody responds to me. You know what I mean?
It's definitely evolved. Like I don't it's not to the point that it's too big and like to where I think it's going to be a detractor, but at some point I don't want to say that to the guys because they want it to obviously the more people in crew, the more money they get, the longer they can make it going, but like it's definitely evolved. Like we're not having the same conversation. Like it's not the same like 30 people talking to each other that it was 2 years ago where like you knew that person's fucking pet's name and their wife's name and everything. And now it's like I vaguely remember that this guy posted something a week ago, and I
Right,
remember it. But now
right. Yeah.
it's
It's hard.
it's
It's much
eventually
harder.
it will eventually become, as Tanner calls it, just the internet because there's going to be too many people in
Right.
there. But
Yeah,
I hope
people.
it doesn't get to that point. Hopefully maybe people
Well, I
weed
mean,
themselves out that don't get it, but so far so
with
good.
only 3 spots left, that'll keep the numbers down.
That is my
Yeah.
favorite. And my favorite is like we I feel like we get a guest every 6 months that tells us that's their origin story is they fell for the 3 spots left, legitimately fell for the 3 spots left bit. So I got a couple more things here just to wrap up general topics. So, big one of the big Joeys up in Canada and Big Derek had a crew meetup. I think Derek was up in Buffalo, Canada area doing some firefighter training and was able to meet up with a few different crew members, or at least Joey. He's supposed to be at my house tomorrow, but he texted me a little bit ago saying there were some issues with his motorcycle and he might not be able to make it out. So we'll see about that. But hopefully, I hit you next week with a Big Derek follow up and. I had a little what's in the sack, what's in Keith's sack tonight, more or less. The wife, Big Stephanie, got me an awesome gift. I haven't posted about it yet, but she got me a PR bell, like an orange cowbell that I can hang up in the gym and actually like ding
That's
ding ding. So I was
That's
like,
awesome.
yeah, I just got to figure out the perfect placement for it, and now it's almost has me like, fuck, I almost want to get a little. I think I have to get another one for the garage at some point too. But the only negative part about it is like wherever I put it, like if I'm squatting 30 feet away, I'm gonna have to like run over to the other side of the gym, and you're just gonna hear a bell off camera. But at least if I think I'm gonna put it near the deadlift platform, because that's like where I have the most space, basically. But yeah, so far I was very excited for that. And Big Joey, did you get a chance to listen to Massonomics episode last week?
Yeah, I did. It was them kind of recapping or maybe giving more of a preview of the some of the South Dakota Massonomics certified training facility tours that they've done recently. Um, I thought it was bold of them to visit Tommy's gym. It's a little controversial, but sometimes you got to just stay close to home. But given all that, I think I'd probably rate it 5 out of 5 fridge cigs.
That's fair. What about you, Jason? Did you get a chance to listen? I
I
know you're
have
busy going through our backlog.
I have not listened still. This is now like a test because there have been times where like episodes have come up and I'm like, and I was, wait, hold on. I've got to hold on just a little bit longer. I have not listened to it.
That's all good. So, in a hypothetical world, what would you give it? What do you think you'd give it if you had a chance to listen to it?
How long is it?
I don't. Who am I? Big math? I don't.
Just
Under two. Actually,
That
I
that
think
one I
this
think
was a
was actually a
short
little
one. It
bit.
kind of. I think I remember.
Yeah, it was like
I
an hour
vividly
and a
remember
half.
being annoyed, being it was only like 90 minutes. Not
okay.
annoyed, but it was. It is. Fuck. I have to re-download it for it to tell me the
No,
right.
that's okay. That gives me I just needed to know, are we talking
An
30
hour.
minutes
I have
or
an hour 23, so that's like that might be their shortest episode. Oh,
okay. That one
it's
I
very
could
short.
I would probably rank that one a five.
There you go. 5 out of 5. But yeah, so as Joey said, it was the South Dakota gym tour recap. I think one thing that stood out to me was they were talking about Big Mo's gym and how it was the first one that either of them could remember where it was like a two-stage setup because Mo has a basement gym and a garage gym. And I don't know if Tommy was serious or just couldn't think of the right word, but he kept calling when he was referencing a basement gym, he kept calling a basement gym a home gym and then referred to a garage gym as a garage gym. And I'm like, I mean, they're both home gyms, Tommy, but one is a basement gym and one's a garage gym. And I wouldn't consider a just the terminology he used just made me chuckle because he did it like a 2 or 3 times in like a 5 minute period. And I was like, wait, like say basement gym. Don't say home gym when you're talking about a basement. So I don't know. That kind of stuck out to me
Man,
specifically.
I find
Well,
that
where Go ahead.
I was gonna say I find that talking I use words sometimes and I listen back or something. I'm like, why did I say that?
Yeah,
It's kind of
fair.
like sometimes
I
words
judge
are
pretty
more.
hard for someone that like knows he fucks and says the wrong words like 1 out of 27 times.
That's what like when people like drag Coop for calling it a sticker instead of a whatever. I'm like, God, give this man a break, dude. He uses 1,000 words a minute. You know what I mean? Like occasionally some wrong ones are going to get thrown in there or something like Jesus. But yeah,
Indeed.
it can be hard, man. Words are hard sometimes.
My question is, where in that lexicon do people put a shop gym?
Oh
Is that a
yeah.
home gym? It's not in my home, but it's on my property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
barn. I mean, is it would it is it not even? It's not a barn. It's an actual pole. I mean, is it a pole barn? Because you can call it a
I mean,
barn,
it's a pole barn construction, but like metal clad
but
building
it has a garage.
with
It has a
a
garage door,
concrete
so
foundation. It's got garage doors.
I would say it's
Hey,
a.
yeah, people have like separate garages, garages that are separate from their home. It doesn't have to be attached to your home to still be a garage.
According to Big Coach Carp, it's called living the dream.
Yeah, for
I
real.
can I
It
can agree with that.
is,
Well,
yeah.
it's not yet, but it will be in 6 months when it's finally set up. And you have this turf that you keep talking about. I've heard you talk about your gym a whole lot, and I haven't seen much action in there yet, buddy.
Is
But
it insulated with like heat and air and stuff? That's where I draw.
Uh, it's insulated. It has wall electric heaters. I'm eventually going to put in a mini split because it can get hot here in the summer.
Okay, awesome. That's incredible, man.
uh,
Yeah.
rounding out mine, the one thing that stuck out is I really want to. They talked about Alan's strongman gym, and I actually went and looked at his Instagram, and I was like, oh fuck, he does have a legit strongman gym. So I'm actually because I know the other guys' gyms in and out. I've been to a couple of them, and I've in depth watched a shit ton of YouTube videos in Jake's gym, and I watch all of Mo's content. So like, I have a fair idea of what's in both of their gyms. But I want to see Alan's Strongman gym for sure. So I'll go ahead and give it a 5 out of 5 Atlas stones. And
Nice, nice.
Joey, do you want to hit us with those first three affiliates there?
Yeah, I'll hit us with some affiliates while you kick off the looky
Oh
loos.
yeah, got to get them out.
Um, First up is Obsidian Ammonia. I believe that they are still banned from Instagram, so you may have to go check them out at hypedust.com. Use code unpaid to save a little bit and help us with that speedboat fund. Next up is Plate Snacks, the most popular company for the crew sticker exchange. Code unpaid there. And last for this group of affiliates is Belt Fed Strength. If you're looking to get strong, get a belt fed belt. Can't go wrong. Code unpaid.
Man, I went to Belt Fed Strength the other day, and I wanted to add a jean belt to my wish list. And I think he took them off. I knew, like we always joke that Chris hates making fucking jean belts, but I couldn't find it on there. I think he literally pulled it. But then it made me thinking, didn't they do a spin-off company that they're like gonna like dual brand? They're gonna have Belt Fed as their belts, and then they have another like the brick and mortar mom and pop like we just do random leather shit like. But I couldn't find what that company Instagram page was because I was like, maybe that's where they have their belts.
I think it's like Black Iris.
Yeah, there was. I made the mistake of just typing in leather from accounts they follow, and then like fucking 90 million fucking accounts came up. But uh,
Yeah, Black Iris Leather Goods. That's going to be their
okay,
more their retail space and also their
I'm not gonna
non-gym
remember.
related
You should
items are going to go there.
text me that at some point because I'm not gonna remember that. And then
Say jean belt. You mean like an inch and a half, 2 inch belt?
yeah, not the
Not denim.
Not a
not
gelt.
not
Okay.
the
I was like,
not
that's something I have
no
not seen one of those.
no. So Chris made one and Tanner took it home. But like I would never wear that in a meet or anything. Like it looks funny, but like it's a cool thing. It definitely fits the vibe of certain people. I'm not that guy. Like
Right.
my silliness is limited in the gym, for sure. But big Jason, do you have anything you wanted to tell us about Mastomics?
Just in general, just
Oh,
all the way around.
did you
Just,
have a
just like,
did you have a sponsor read you wanted to hit us with for him?
I have a commercial.
Yeah, that's the same
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, okay. All
People
right.
words, what I
Oh,
say,
yeah.
I know what people hear. Yeah,
Okay.
same.
Okay. I'm going to try this. And if this doesn't work, then I'm going to silently sneak back into the bushes like Homer Simpson.
I mean, if you have an audio clip too and it doesn't play, you can just DM it to Nate and he can
Okay.
clip it
So
in.
let's try it. And then, because I'd like to see if this works. You ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I haven't always had my shit together. There was a time in my life when I was lost. I was confused and I was wearing old gym shorts that didn't cost half my mortgage payment. And I thought I knew what it meant to bench heavy. I thought I was strong, but really I was just a man who parks and gym, searching for meaning. Then I found the Massonomics podcast, or I guess it sort of found me, but they taught me what really matters, like proper nutrition through Costco chicken bakes, questionable amounts of cottage cheese, the sacred art of drink safety through the drink spotter, and of course, how to justify buying overpriced shorts that only a relatively small group of people on the internet will ever appreciate or even understand. Now, some say that Massonomics is just a podcast, that it's two incredibly immature dudes with an affinity for beer and lifting weights, but for me, it was a revelation. It gave me purpose, it gave me hope, it gave me a community of people who are also willing to pay full stall mat prices for a very small piece of a stall mat. And the best part is that for just $3 a month, maybe slightly more than the cost of feeding a starving child in a third world country, but you too can become a supporting member. That's right, $3 will unlock a lifetime supply of inside jokes and the eternal right to say you're part of the crew. So do yourself a favor and listen to the Massonomics podcast. It might not fix your squat form, it might not fix your marriage, but it will make you laugh while both fall apart. The Massonomics podcast, it's the most important podcast in Western Northeast South Dakota.
Nice. I mean,
Awesome.
I don't
Very
know
well
if that
done.
what is the what is the what's the damn publication that ranks all the podcasts in Aberdeen, the Aberdeen Gazette or whatever the fuck it is, where they still haven't been featured in that when they do the
Mhm.
local podcast roundup annually, or it might, maybe they don't even do it annually. They did maybe I think they did it like twice, like 3 years ago or some shit. But no, that was good. That was our first pre-recorded commercial, I think. So that was
I,
hopefully that I laughed. So well
I
done.
might have misunderstood the assignment.
It's all good.
Sorry.
That works too. No,
Hey,
that's fine.
yeah, that was
It's was
awesome.
it it's carte blanche, is that the right term? Like dealer's choice. Like I don't, as long as you do something that, like, it could even be talking shit about them. Like I wouldn't be nice, but it ain't gonna hurt. It's not gonna hurt my feelings. Tanner might not like it, but I think we asked Tanner, like, fuck, literally 2.5 years ago now, and like what he expected out of this for like us giving back to them, and he's just like, it's your podcast, do whatever the fuck you want. So like we could probably go and never talk about him again with that little segment, but because we literally talk about him for a fucking hour other places. But it's just it is funny, it's intriguing to see what people bring each week, because some people get really creative with it and other people, like, we had a guy did like a poem or something recently, and people, like, you can kind of tell when they just like phone it in with chat gpt and when they actually like put some effort into it. No, I mean, a lot of them probably are chat gpt. It's just a matter of you plugging in what you want to say and just have chat gpt say it better. So that worked for me. I think we got all those looky loos out. So what do you think, Joey? We got to get this
Oh,
guest on the horn.
finally.
You want
Yeah,
to see
let's get Jason in here.
if he's there? Is that you, buddy? Is that you, Jason? You there?
Yeah, hey, what's up, man?
Hey, welcome to the Unpaid Nighter podcast. We're glad we were able to get you on tonight.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Uh, so we'll go ahead and hit you with the first question we always hit everyone with. How'd you find Massonomics? What brought
Uh,
you?
I didn't. Massonomics sort of found me.
Oh yeah, this is
Uh,
actually a good one. I'm excited to
yeah.
hear this story. Is Carp still here?
So Massonomics actually started for me. A friend of mine, actually a friend of ours, Greg, up in Canada,
Okay.
Canadian. For whatever reason, I got from him, and we are on kind of a group chat or whatever. Him and another friend, powerlifter Amanda Wolf or Big Bad Wolf, if you know her. We they both sent, like, at the same time, a link to the original drink spotter, like the minute that it came out, and they were just talking so much shit. They're like, "Look at this. What dumb motherfucker would pay $60, whatever?" So I was like, I immediately was like, "Oh, I've got to do that." And
That's
it was like
funny.
a joke. I'd never heard of Massonomics. I don't know anything about the drink spotter, but I was also like, "Yeah, that's really, that is definitely something I'm going to buy." So I bought it because what I wanted to do was like piss them off with my frivolous spend with, like, what? Oh, I had
Spite
already
is a
heard
good
it.
motivator.
You know what I mean? And so I did, and I bought it just so that I could make this stupid little, like, reel of myself, like, opening it with a drink in my hand and trying to open the box with, one with a drink, and not having the wherewithal to just set the drink down and open the box, and then that way I could open it and be like, oh shit, that's what I needed all along, kind of a thing. And I ended up taking it down because I didn't realize I all the time, and I mean it. I do not know how to use the internet, and I don't even think about shit. Like the whole time, like after I posted it, one of my buddies was like, "Dude, that video is just your address. Oh, you're like doxing yourself." Whatever. Oh,
Oh.
okay. So I don't know how to like edit that out or anything like that, so I just deleted the whole thing. But that is where I first heard of Massonomics, and from there, because I started tagging them and all that kind of stuff in those videos. Started seeing all these other ones that come up and stuff, and started following them. And I get their content, through Instagram, now on my YouTube and stuff like that. But that's where I had originally heard of them. I actually really like Instagram. The kind of just always,
Yeah, Tanner's done
you
two
know what I
posts a
mean?
day
Like,
for like a literal decade. Like,
and they're
hit, hit,
good. Like they're not.
yeah.
It's not burners. You know what I mean?
No,
Like they're
Yep.
how they do it. Like a lot
the
of respect.
crew, the crew contributes some, but like I would say the crew's contribution has got to be like literal 5 or 10% because he'll make maybe one or two crew posts a week with like using like our memes that we made. Uh, but I mean, he's doing what, no, 14 posts a week. Like most
The
people don't even do 14 posts a fucking year. Like,
the humor all feels the same, and this is the thing that I really have a lot of respect and admiration for those guys is that they have it's one thing to have funny stuff or do funny stuff or say something funny or whatever, but to just be like genuinely and authentically funny, you know what I mean? Like it's
Mhm.
original humor that they have, and it's just, and I think that's what people are drawn to with their content there, and it shows even in their fucking memes. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
It's good, man.
So
They're
that's how they got on your radar. What about becoming crew specifically? Because you're relatively new to the sporting membership and our Discord and all that.
Yeah, I was having flashbacks when Joey was talking about code unpaid at belt fed because that's exactly what got me. I have I went on a rant about, and I do this often, about affiliates and about people. I just want to get it out there for people to consider using somebody's affiliate link or their code or something like that. And in doing so, I mean, I can't ask other people to do things that I am not willing to do. You know what I mean? And so I oftentimes, when I know I'm going to make a purchase for something or whatever, I ask, like, hey, do you guys know? I mean, you've been in chats with me.
Hmm.
I've asked numerous times, like, does anybody know if there's a affiliate link for somebody? Does any of you guys or anybody that you know have a link to this place I'm about to make a purchase, however big or small it might be? I try to make sure that, somebody gets, gets credit for the work that they're putting into it and stuff like that. And so I did that. I was ordering something from Belt Fed, and I didn't, you know, Carp was he sent me kind of a list of codes, and I think he probably assumed that it was a code that helps support the channel or something,
Yeah.
and he shared that, and I was like, sweet, went and paid it, and then I was like, hey Keith, I just because the other part of it's kind of like working out and not posting about it. You know what I mean? Like you can't lift
Oh,
weights and
yeah.
not tell somebody, or else it doesn't count.
Absolutely.
Well, the same thing with affiliate codes, the links or whatever. Like when you use one, you got to go tell that person because they'll never know. And then it
Absolutely.
doesn't count. So I was like, came back and said, hey man, I just used your thing, and you were like, well, technically that's for crew only. It was like a secret deal because his margins are so small, and it was just something he did for the podcast or whatever. But that's cool. And I was like, well, shit. I was like, well, now I just felt like that was not my intention. So yeah.
And I was not trying to come off like a dick. It was just more of a it did
And
catch
it
me off
wasn't
guard,
even
and I was
like,
like, ah, shit.
yeah, it wasn't even like so I was just like, yeah, fuck it. I'll just join the podcast, whatever. So yeah, my 5% on my $60 purchase is costing me $3 a month, which is,
Indefinitely. But I
which
mean, and
is on
also
brand.
I'll
I mean,
give you credit too, because like if you wanted to do it just to kind of recoup what that little bit of money or something, but like you've been here for like I don't know 6 months now or something, so it's like we haven't scared you away, and
I mean it whenever I say that I value even though I haven't actively listened to, I've listened to one episode of the Massonomics podcast, not even the full episode. I don't even remember. It was one they were driving. They looked like the two Sonic dudes or whatever, like and they're driving back from
oh yeah, it was the Arnold recap.
The
Arnold. Yeah,
Arnold.
and I got about as far as they were talking about having met Brandon Diamond, and
Yeah,
how
yeah.
like meeting your heroes and that kind of stuff, and they're kind of joking about how he is the exact same guy that he is online, or he's exactly what you would think he would be and stuff. And I had to tap out for something. I don't remember what I was going to do, and I had the intention of coming back to it, and then I had these intrusive thoughts of listening to some before I came on here, and I was like, man, you know what? Keith knows that I haven't listened to these, and if I don't stay true to that for at least until I get to this podcast, then I'm a
That
I'm
makes me
a bit
happy.
or whatever. So I
Yeah.
do I will because when I have some now that I'm commuting back and forth to
Oh
work
yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff, I do have
You got a couple hours every day of just road
more
time,
time
don't you?
to do that kind of thing, to consume a little bit more of that stuff. But like during my work, I just don't have that kind of a job where I can do it and then I
Yeah,
get
yeah.
home, whatever. So
Well, I do know you did your homework on us because you had definitely. I don't know if you listened to too many before I got you scheduled or not, but I know you've been powering through a handful because I literally saw it like unfold and fucking Facebook on the garage gym because you had our friend Brandon Doyle commented. A lot of times people go to the Facebook group specifically to like help Massonomics. Say, hey, what kind of podcast are you guys listening to? Wink, wink, just so like 30 people can say Massonomics as well.
okay,
I
okay.
mean, I don't think I think he was probably fishing to actually see some good podcasts as well. If anything, it wasn't on his radar, but like it just so happened that like you commented on whatever, and he was like, "Oh, I recognize you," and then you're like, "Oh, I recognize you because I literally listen to your podcast." And I was like,
Yeah,
"This is fucking great."
yeah. So this room that I'm in, I've been recently kind of renovating this. This has always been this kind of weird little space that my kids have had access to. Like it's just like a weird. This is where the toys that they don't play with go to, kind of a thing. And I've been kind of wanting my own space for this and whatever. And it was just an opportunity. And so while I was kind of tearing out the desk and the floor and all that kind of stuff and laying all that, I was like, just turned on the podcast and yeah, man, there was a lot of those that really resonated with me while I was listening to it. Like the my favorite one that I can recall so far was the one with the which is your favorite murderer or whatever.
Yeah,
Then there was another one where I was listening to, and it was occupational therapist, and it was like I listened to about I don't know how far I got into it before his handle came up, and I was like, oh, I know him, I know
yeah,
that guy, like
yeah.
I mean I think I've probably I don't even know if we've ever I mean more recently like since that podcast and just a few days ago or whatever we've interacted a little bit on Instagram or Messenger or something like that. And but before that, I don't know if we ever actually directly did, but I've definitely seen that, and that was just one of those things where I was like, "This
Nice.
is what is cool about Unpaid Underrated is that you guys take it because you're focused so much on the community aspect of Massonomics and what they
Mhm.
build in that, and then it does provide a face to those people that you interact with, on the internet that like your people of the internet or whatever, they become less of a profile and a little bit more humanized
Mhm.
and stuff. And that's a cool aspect, and I really appreciate what.
Love to hear that. And we're trying to make it a little bit easier too. It's like I advocated this for from episode one of trying to put the guest name in the title, and I was kind of I was voted against because at the time I don't think anyone knew how long this was going to go. We knew we were a little more vulgar, and I think people didn't really. The other two are Joey and Nate didn't really want to have people linked,
Yeah,
didn't want someone to
yeah,
Google someone and have them talk about dicks and farts and stuff. But I think at
right.
this point, no one cares and everyone probably wants to be found a little easier, at least by their friends. So it's just,
Mhm.
I don't know, the last like couple months maybe, we've been making sure to put the guest name, at least their first name in the title, just because like it does stink because you scroll through the first 150 episodes or whatever, and it's like, who the fuck is this? And you have to like zoom in on the thumbnail and kind of like think of who it is. I mean, granted, if you click on it and go into any of the body of the post, it's there in the
Right.
details, but like
Yeah.
no one's clicking on anything. Like they just want to like see a name they recognize. So I'm glad we
You
started
can
doing
just
that.
click on episode 41 and
Oh
that'll be
yeah,
the best one you can
yeah,
find.
yeah. Is that right?
Yep.
Well, big Jason, I know who you are. Joey knows who you are, but in case we got some listeners, name, Instagram, Discord, wherever they want you to find you, website, YouTube, any of that.
So yeah, I'm literally no one, but on Instagram, I go by Man Who Parks and Gym, and this is the longest. And what I probably already lost you, but it's man underscore or is that what it is? Yeah, man underscore who underscore parks underscore in. I don't blame you if you never looked that up. YouTube, I'm on there also. I think I'm harder to find though. I've been told that. I've never actually looked it up, but I did try to put MWPIG and Man Who Parks and Gym, so whatever. There's really no reason unless you just are a glutton, I guess.
It looks like it's Man Who Parks and Gym slash in
Yeah, yeah.
MWPIG, and then
Somebody they were
and
it was
then
like
the ad is just in MWPIG 5. So I'm
yeah,
sure if you literally just search MWPIG, it's going to
yeah.
show up.
So I host a podcast under the Garage Gym Radio umbrella. It's called Rep Rant Repeat, and that's kind of my little pet project right now. I mean, I still post somewhat on. I mean, I'm currently reviewing some products and stuff for a couple of companies on the YouTube channel, which is a new kind of venture for me. That type of content, but the podcast is kind of my little pet project at the moment. It's just right now I'm doing a thing where it's just me solo. And once I kind of get a vibe and a feel and that kind of stuff going, I intend to have some kind of guest hosts from time to time. But mostly it's just me holding myself accountable to.
I gotta say, your most recent episode I thought was excellent.
Yeah, yeah, man.
More of that every week would be great.
You know,
I got a kick out of that today.
I watched it back, I was like, God, this is just I should. Why didn't I just title this like Joey's
It
episode?
it was it
With
I
so much Joey,
it
and I didn't
was
realize it. Yeah, I
it
didn't
was
realize how much.
40 minutes of talking about Joey. It was
And then
pretty
eight
good.
minutes of like, all right, well, here's the rest of the episode. Thanks, guys. See you.
I
And
enjoyed it.
even when I was talking earlier about using a an app that I drop the episode in and it chops it up for me to make little pieces of content to try to promote the Rep Rant Repeat Instagram page and stuff, to try to grow that. And it was even that was like when I went through it, it gives me like 30 clips, and I was like, every one of them were Joey,
Oh,
Joey's.
the one you posted was
I
fucking
was like,
hysterical. I laughed so
and
hard at
I
that.
didn't get
And
any of
then
the part that's not Joey's gym. It's just gonna think doing a walkthrough of Joey's gym,
I
which I
think
guess it
I think
was.
I saw the Instagram clip probably because I don't know when you came up with that episode, maybe last week. I just got a chance to listen to it today, and I was like, oh, I saw this. I like when it came up on the podcast. I was like, I heard like this 30-second clip on Instagram. It was funny as shit. And when you get more context of it, I was like, oh, it does make more sense. Because like I thought you just randomly pulled Joey's name out of your ass like for like an analogy or something. And I'm like, oh no, it was the Joey episode.
Oh, okay, yeah, the part where you're talking about like the little like
The basic white girl.
oh, the basic white girl one.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Because I was like, oh, that's got to be our Joey. Like, there can't be any other fucking Joey E's out
Right,
there. That's
right. That is.
anything you want to hit him with, Joey? Any questions? You're just gonna go in order for a few if you want.
Yeah. Where are you? Like, besides on the internet, where do you live? Where are you from?
So I'm in
All that kind of
Tulsa.
stuff.
I live here in Tulsa, and I'm basically, I mean, I'm from a smaller city, Muskogee, just outside of Tulsa originally, but I've lived here for, say, I'm from here now, I guess. I don't know. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, not a lot going on here, in the Plains states. But it's a good place to raise a family. It's a good place to,
Hmm.
my wife works in energy, gas, and stuff like that, and so we have a lot of that. And just moved my oldest daughter out to South Carolina, and my next daughter
Oh,
is
the upstate.
she's the upstate. What?
There's we have a cousin podcast where they talk about upstate South Carolina a lot, and
Oh,
it's kind
oh,
of
okay, okay. Well, I don't know which part of that.
I I would assume that I don't somewhere in the hills. I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
Greenville Spartanburg is usually considered the upstate versus like Myrtle Beach and like all those more southern and eastern parts are like the low country, and then you've got like the middle of the state where Columbia is.
yeah. She's in Columbia, which is mid-state, Midwest of South Carolina. But yeah, just having moved her out there, my next middle child or whatever is in high school. It goes so fast, man. And I don't know,
Hmm.
I don't know what we'll do after. I mean, I have another one after her that's 10, but it's like we're a blended family, right? So hers and mine and ours, and we've never been as locked to Tulsa once the two older ones are kind of doing a couple
Oh,
of
okay.
years, we'll be a little bit more considering mobility. That's why we're in this weird place with the house, right? Where it's like, do we put more money into this house or whatever, or do we just kind of wait and see what's going on? Because like my commute, my wife's commute and stuff, like we're neither one of us work in Tulsa. We both she actually works in Oklahoma City, which is an hour and a half. I'm an
Jeez.
Oh,
hour.
wow.
I'm an hour commute away.
Yeah, you
And
need to move, dude.
and
Well,
when I
you or her
say
at least like both work in the same general vicinity then? Like, could you buy?
no, it's opposite directions, complete
Oh,
opposite
so
directions.
then
Yeah, we're
one
fucked
of
if
well, there's
I
no point in moving
move.
unless one of you fucking get a different job. Then it
Uh,
really,
it was. I'm trying not to. I don't want to.
yeah.
I'm
Don't get
trying not to get
political.
not to get triggered here, but but previously, I have worked from home for about 13 years until recently, and that's always been part of the plan. It's always been the assumption that that was going to be what you do. You know what I mean? You work from home. That was part of the gig.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
The benefit of being the federal employee.
right, right. And so, yeah, I don't know what'll happen, but I'm in a weird, and I don't mean this to sound, but I'm in a position where I really don't really. Um, I do it because I've always really enjoyed the work that I do and the people that I work with. It is some days are harder than others with
Mhm.
this stuff, and so, but if it comes down to it, I'll make a decision. And right now, it's a personal choice for me to drive back, and
Uh,
I will.
well, on that vein, we always give people the opportunity to talk about their job as little or as much as they want. Feel free, or we can move on.
I will say I work for the Department of Veterans Affairs. I don't work directly with veterans face to face or anything like that. I make a lot of decisions and I do a lot of things that help a large portion of veterans to get compensation veteran, for like service connected conditions and things like that. And if there's crew out there that have served, have questions or just don't have a good understanding of what their VA benefits might be, if I can't answer those questions, I can find the answers and stuff. So if there are people out there that have that, I'm always, it's, it's not as faceless as it seems, and it's not as daunting or overwhelming. Or I have a knack for taking that complex information and kind of, you know, dwindling it down to something that's easy to swallow. And I'm happy to be out there.
Nice. And use code unpaid when reaching out for his services.
Yeah, yeah, you can mention unpaid, and then I'll know
Yeah,
that mention unpaid episode 13, and I'll know where you got it.
indeed, indeed. So you've been watching Massnomics for a bit here, and you've been crew. You've done a couple in-person meetups, so at least one at the home gym con. Was there any shirts or anything? Like I don't know how much Massnomics merch you actually have, but is there anything that you've seen that you went to go buy and you're like, fuck, that's sold out or doesn't exist on their website? Because they do a lot of limited runs, obviously.
Well, the goose stuff is near and dear to me because of Goose Fitness.
Yep, yep.
So I did go but whenever I saw that it was like on sale recently, and I went, definitely not my size in that. I think it was the black one.
Yeah.
I think they recently released like
They did, yeah. There's a and it's on a comfort color blank, so it's not the fitted one. It's a
right.
little more almost all cotton. I think it's not probably all cotton, but it's a little
Yeah, I got an
beefier cut.
AvMat shirt from Home Gym.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a generous fit.
Yeah, especially now, man. I've lost like 30.
Damn,
Oh, nice. Hopefully intentional.
No, not no 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 nope.
you're not gonna be out angling anyone with that kind of body weight.
Well, it's weird. I feel really small. I feel really light. I look that way. I'm not even filling out shirts that I do. And what's weird about
Hmm.
it is that when I work out, if starts getting hot or something like that, I take my shirt off and I don't look any smaller in the mirror because I mean my everything looks skinny, but I have muscle, so
There
it's
you
like
go. Yeah, getting more
trade
defined.
off. I don't know.
Have you
But
lost
I
weight since
definitely
home gym con, or are you about the same size?
uh well, I'm about 30 pounds since January. So when was Home Gym Con? 30 pounds light. Yeah,
July.
End of June and beginning of July. I think it was the first week of
Yeah.
July.
yeah. I've lost.
Dang. So yeah, the man dealing with a lot of stress, and he, starts a podcast, starts another
I,
podcast, pulls anything away from work and family that he can do.
yeah, it's
But that probably helps though, doesn't it? Like, do you think like I mean, are does podcasting? I don't. It's not an added stress right now, at least not. It can't be because you're doing it
it,
by yourself. So like,
that
this. Well,
doing it by myself is helpful.
yeah, we can
It
actually
takes
get into
out
that in a minute.
it takes
That's
out the stress of relying on someone else or something like that. Not that it's not that my partner was unreliable or anything like that, but it's just there is another element of that,
Just
have
the scheduling aspect is
or just
very
having
challenging.
someone else rely on me even. Do you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like it's one thing when like last week, for example, my intention with Rep Rent Repeat is to drop an episode every other week.
Hmm.
And last week I did with trying to move everything up here, get everything set up, redo this room and stuff. I knew I wouldn't have it just completely done, but I needed a space that I could at least get my camera and all that kind of stuff set up. And it just kept running into one thing after another. Then there was one day where I was like, all right, I'm going to record. And I kept, so with Garage Gym Radio, we share an account on Riverside. And if one person is recording, then if another person goes in, it just kicks them out, whatever. Like,
Ah, okay. So
can't
you
have two
do have to
people
actually
at the same
like,
time.
yeah. There's
So
like five or well, there's what, at least three people that record on that then. In there.
So we have a calendar, like a Google calendar, and we'll put time slots
Hmm.
on there and whatever. And usually I'm pretty gold if I do a Tuesday evening because Jake does the Knurled News on Tuesday mornings, right?
Hmm.
And so
Hmm.
he's not recording again later that day. And usually uh, D. Lipro records on a different day and that kind of stuff. So I'm usually pretty safe. I looked at the calendar, there was nothing on there, whatever, and I went to go log in and it just wasn't working. And I was like, I thought it was my setup. I thought it was I was like, this is, and so that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? And it was just one of
Hmm.
those, I have all these other things. This was what I had planned for this day. Those things will be stressful about it, but it's less stress than if I had other people that I felt like were relying on me for that or that, you know what I mean? It's like I can pick this up. I'm going to get this done. So it's a wash, I guess, when you ask about whether or not doing the podcast.
Yeah.
I think for me it's a distraction from some of the other things and it's one of those things that it just gives me a little bit of like I don't take a lot of time to unwind or to like, I mean working out and stuff like I do that sometimes I'm definitely not as intense as what I need to be and I know that and
Hmm.
stuff but sometimes I can't just force myself to do it and so I look for these other kind of outlets and this is one of them. I think it's also helpful for me because I I'm really uncomfortable and awkward talking to people or talking on a camera and things like that. And I feel myself, I can see myself getting better and more comfortable and confident in it. And I really do like even lifting weights, doing podcasts, plan and things like that. It is a self-improvement mechanism for me to try to see myself progress in ways and do things that most people are uncomfortable with. I'm uncomfortable with. I know I sound like an idiot. I ramble, I whatever, and I have to remind myself a lot doing when I'm doing those that like this isn't live. You know what I mean? I can go
Hmm.
back and I can if I just completely and even whenever I'm editing, I also talk myself through that and like, you know what, man, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect. Leave that in there. You know what I mean? Like the ums and uhs sometimes. I mean, I'll take out the stuff that I feel like is just a real bad distraction or something like that, or if it's just a complete and total fuck up. But for the most part, I just own those mistakes too in real time, and that's just all part of it for me. So I think in a way it does help to relieve some of that anxiety and stress and things like that. And at work, I've got like I have to get up in front of people and I have to I'm in a leadership role. I've got people that I can't be afraid to talk. You know what I mean? Like and sometimes, I'm talking to people I have people on my team, that are, I mean, they're in my employees or whatever, I don't know what you want to call them, but like, these are guys that have served in multiple combat zones. You know what I mean? Like they've been in real shit. And what am I afraid of? Talking. You know what I mean? All I have to do is they're not gonna, you know, they're not holding me at gunpoint or whatever. They're not, it's just so these kind of things they help me with that, and that is I am glad that there are people that find enjoyment in it. I mean, I do put work into it. I mean, it's not just like I mean, I wing it. I do a lot of riffing and things like that, but I try to come up with some kind of content that's not just me surfing the internet. You know what I mean? Like, which is what it feels like sometimes whenever I'm going through it. But whenever I'm going back, listening back later or something like that, like to be able to actively engage with you guys on the chat and things like that, I'm like listen back to it in like real time or whatever, and I'm looking on the Rogue site, I'm just thumbing through Rogue or
It's
whatever.
really hard just listening to yourself.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is. It is. It is.
I think I've said it a few times on here. It's like I very seldom will listen to the full episode anymore. I just now that we record from beginning to end, I'm just more intrigued to see what Nate actually puts in the pre and post show because sometimes he'll
Yeah.
put post show stuff in the pre show. Sometimes he'll take some of the pre show
Mhm.
stuff, and if we have a long pre show, he'll put a lot of that in the post show. And other times it's like cuts most of it, but
Right.
for the most part he puts anything in that's worth it. So like I listen for that, and then it's like, but then I do end up feeling like I'm missing out on some of the back and forth because someone will text me of like, I can't believe you said this, and I'm like, what the fuck did I say? I don't have 3 hours to listen to that episode, and that was fucking 4 days ago. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's the funny thing too is when you have a podcast that you released like a week ago, and somebody that you interact with or whatever chat with is listening to it and they're texting you or whatever in real time, and you're like, I'm not listening to
I
that
don't
already. I
remember.
don't remember. I was just talking. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? Like,
I remember most, but every now and then I'm like, fuck, what was I talking about? So sometimes I have to like ask for. I'm like, send me a timestamp, and I was like, oh, that makes
right.
sense now. That's funny.
I'm curious, Jason. Do you have a certified training facility?
I do. Yeah. Hell yeah, I
Nice.
do.
Hell yeah.
It's got my name
What's your gym name?
It's called the gym that man who parks in Jim parks
Tanner actually, Tanner wrote all that out.
He did,
That's
yeah,
funny. I'm
with
surprised
like a
that fit.
Sharpie.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, yep. That's funny. All right, so
That's really
you might
cool.
have hit a record on people, the most amount of people submitted shit for you. I think like 6 weeks before you were supposed to be a guest. I think I already had like 13 submissions for you.
Nice.
So did you someone who's been on a lot of podcasts, it was probably fairly easy because they probably already knew you were for podcasts, but was there anyone that was like, what the fuck is this you and you thing, or why are you asking me to, did you any funny stories to stick out from that, or was it pretty
Uh,
straightforward?
no one asked any questions. I thought it was really cool and weird, and I just sent that, and I was like, I need you to fill this out when you get a minute, and then yeah, every 100% of the people that I sent it to responded,
Nice.
and well, wait, I take that back. I think there might be two people, one or two people that are like buddies that I've met through work, like when I would do work travel and stuff. These guys work in other
Hmm.
offices, and somehow we hit it off. Beers is how we hit it off.
Yeah.
And I think those two did not, and which they could. They actually have some really good stories, and I think that if they did, and they're probably listening to this, if they did, they probably would have rather just gone with he eats dicks or something like
Yeah, and I'm
that.
glad
You
people
know what I
didn't.
mean?
Yeah, those are the like I've vented many a time. Like there were someone thought they were funny and said we should ask your the Mount Rushmore of like your favorite gay bars or something like that. I'm just like we don't like that. Nothing against gay. Like it's just like obviously you're not a gay man. So like I know you're family, so it's like a wife. So it's just obviously it was a stupid fucking suggestion. And there were some other ones about like dicks and dildos and stuff. So it's like we even with the people you sent it to, we still got some stupid fucking responses that
For
didn't
sure.
fit what I know of your lifestyle. So I was like, come on, guys, like fucking grow up. This isn't middle
Maybe they
school.
did. Maybe they did respond then. So
Yeah, I can. If I don't remember, remind me. I can resend you. I can go back through the link, and have it to where you can view who submitted each individual thing. If you want, I can just send you that later. Let's see. So we covered that. So I'm gonna hit you with a little least fun, most fun. It's a relatively new game we came up with. I was gonna ask you least fun, most fun solo hosting a podcast, but I feel like we covered
I
the.
I like it, man. I really do. I mean,
I think we kind of covered that though.
okay.
For the most part. So if you're not from, for anyone listening that's not familiar, least fun, most fun, I'm going to give him a single topic and he's going to give me two separate answers. The least fun thing about the topic and the most fun thing about the topic, and kind of just, quick hitters or a little in depth if he wants. But, so I'm going to go least fun, most fun, home gym con this year. How your experience home gym con, least fun, most fun.
So I just want to make sure I understand the rules of the game. Am I supposed to tell you something that it was the least fun of Home Gym Con and the most fun of it?
Correct. Yes.
Okay,
It's
got it.
it's
Exactly.
it's not was it least fun or was it most fun? It
Right,
is
right. Okay,
what was the best and the worst. I just like
okay.
least fun, most fun because it sounds cooler, but it
Yeah, yeah.
occasionally.
The least fun was the mind fuck that is the overwhelming, like overstimulus. I mean, it's a weirdly least and most fun aspect of it, but I just wasn't prepared for it. You know what I mean? The brain rot that I felt from just overstimulation. and needing to like hide in corners. You know what I mean? That was a weirdly least fun aspect of it that I am also weirdly looking forward to next time better. And then most fun, honestly, man, most fun was probably those after hours. Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? Like drink, not just beers, booze, whatever, but just, mingling around with people, getting to know some of the people. And I know, like afterwards, some of my buddies would send me like clips or whatever of like Uber nerds and at like a Comic Con or something like that, meeting their Twitch friends or whatever. I was like, yeah, that's exactly what it was like for me. You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, I was nerding out with my fellow nerds, gym shit, and people that I've been, some of these guys, I've been have a chat with people for like the last 5 years. You know what I mean? And it's like it's just cool to. I mean, but what's cool about it is just rolling in, and it's a non-issue. It's not like a big like awkward weird. It's like these are people that I've known forever. Is what it feels like. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. No, I was glad you were able to make it. I figured you would definitely would have fit in year one and year two, but year three, I think got a lot more people just because it was like, oh, it's easier to get to. It's actually a real city I want to go to potentially, but then like I don't think anyone did anything outside of going to Home Gym Con and going to a couple, and no one even wanted to go to like really bars and shit because it was just more convenient to just go to the bar at the hotel. Like that was just like I didn't want to fucking walk 7 blocks to go to some shithole bar. Like it
Right.
was already annoying that we had to walk like 3 or 4 blocks to go find food sometimes. I was just like everything just being at the hotel was fucking so much more convenient.
And I might not speak for everyone, but as far as I'm concerned, like anything I am ever going to find at the bar outside of there is right there inside that one, except I have my hotel right here. You know what I mean? I don't have to,
Mhm.
there's not, I'm too old for the bar scene, man, especially without my wife and all that kind of stuff. Like I just don't. And even if I was with her, if we were going to go somewhere for drinks, like away from that, it would probably have been, oh man, what was the name of that? I went to this place like 3 times and breakfast and stuff. It was like around the corner. It was a different hotel that they had a
Okay.
restaurant in.
Yeah,
Damn it!
I didn't go to that one.
But anyway, it had a nice little bar with good bourbons.
Were you the one in the elevator with me and James, the occupational therapist that like the dude uh like got us on the freight elevator the one night that
Yeah,
okay, that was us. Okay,
yeah,
I had so many different like micro experiences with like different groups of people that it was very hard to keep everything straight.
yeah.
But
I don't remember.
yeah.
I don't remember who was on that either. But yeah,
Yeah, it
that
was me,
I
you, and
remember
James,
that happened.
and like the guy that kept telling us, like as soon as he got us on there, he's like, "Oh, they're gonna see me on camera, and I'm gonna get fired for this." I'm like,
Yeah,
"Well, why
yeah.
the fuck did you bring us back here,
Right,
dude?
right.
Like you could
Yeah,
have said no.
yeah.
You
No,
easily
that was
said no,
awesome.
guys. Sucks to wait in line for an hour."
Yeah, that was the trick. There was to go downstairs to the
Yeah,
first.
yeah, that was we tried that, and then there was a million Barbie convention people that were also waiting, so that worked out really
Mhm.
good that night. Well, I think we
So I think we're all familiar with your nickname MWPIG or Man Who Parks in Gym. Uh, I'm pretty remiss that we haven't said this already, but MWPIG 5 saves 5% at Prime Fitness.
It does.
Um, who calls you the Rizzler?
Oh, that would be my daughter. My 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 daughter, she's Reagan is her name, and yeah, I don't know what it is, but my two oldest daughters, I we go places like we'll go as a family and stuff, and I get like ladies will compliment me on stuff, and my daughters are always like, "Dad's got Riz," and I'm like, I don't. It's usually my
is that like
tattoos.
is that what is Riz game? Like I don't even know what
Yeah,
Riz
it means
means.
it,
Okay.
it, it means charisma, essentially,
Okay,
but it's
okay.
Riz, and it's
I
like
gotcha.
it's a brain rot word of whatever generation we're on, 2 generations below us, but yeah, they'll be like, "Why does he got so much Riz?" But we'll go. It's usually it's just somebody gives me like a compliment on tattoos or something like that or whatever. But sometimes it will be a little bit uncomfortable, over the top, uncomfortable, whatever. And so, yeah, my that'll be one of my daughters.
Good stuff. What about your lifting history in general? Obviously, you've had a home gym here for a pretty long time. Walk us through any, your training and what led you to the home gym and all that.
Uh, so home gym depend, if we define home gym as a dusty pair of dumbbells under the bed, I feel like so I've always had access to a home gym in some degree, right? So my mom, I grew up, my dad my mom and dad had gotten divorced and stuff. My dad passed whenever I was a kid, and so I was always kind of a single mom. She worked a lot of jobs, and some of the stuff that she did to try to pay the bills and stuff was she was a personal trainer and
Okay.
aerobics instructor and stuff. And so, and she would do a lot of that stuff at the house or at the church or uh, things like that. And she always did it for like people who couldn't afford memberships at places. And so she would do these things where somebody would pay her like $10 a month. And every week she would lead an aerobics class and she would have a full class of people and stuff. But we always had like gym, she would always have like a little bit of a home gym, dumbbells and things like that. She would have like back in the day when people would do like slide aerobics and stuff like that. She would have all that stuff at the house. So I always had that. I had gotten stuff whenever I started getting into it whenever I was like 12, 11, 12, 13, something like that. And it's always one of those things like, man, I wish I had, you know, stuck with it or whatever. I was so skinny, like super, super, super skinny. And it's one of those things that like people, I've never struggled with, being overweight or anything like that. But I assume that when you're severely underweight, the mind fuck that that has on a person can be similar, right? Even though nobody has compassion, nobody ever says like, "Wow,
Yeah.
congrats!" If you lose weight, somebody loses 100 pounds, people will celebrate you like it's the greatest accomplishment you will ever have made in your life, right? Which it's just losing weight, man. You know what I mean? It's like it's not. People do amazing things. I'm not minimizing that. I'm just saying, but no one ever celebrates, a gainer. You know
Yeah,
what
I
I
see
mean?
that. Like if
No.
you're like 130 pounds and you
But
wanted to get up to like 180, like that's actually pretty fucking
yeah,
impressive versus
but
just
but
being,
it can
no, I
be
can see
just
that.
it can be a similar. I don't know if it's similar or not, but there are also mental struggles that people can have in that space, right? People, when you just grow up constantly being told you don't eat enough or you're too skinny or whatever. So I can remember being like 12, 13 and stuff. My mom, like I said, she was a personal trainer and stuff. She worked for or a guy down the street from me was a bodybuilder. And so I remember I would call him Brian Owsley and I would ask tips and tricks for working out. How can I gain weight? Website. And I would do this regimen where I would eat like triple decker peanut butter and mayonnaise sandwiches.
Oh, what the
I,
fuck?
dude, it was calories, right? And I don't
Well,
know
yeah, but
about
Mhm.
nutrition and
I
stuff
could
until
go
I got
peanut butter and peanut butter. Fuck off with the mayo.
I couldn't. Well, I could. Oh, here's the thing, man. If
Ugh.
someone like whatever your goal is, if you have a physical physique goal thing, and someone told you like if you're 5'1", I'm just going to go out on a limb and assume that if you're 5'1", you would probably rather be a foot taller. If someone told you that if in order for you to do that, you just have to eat this shit three
Yeah,
times a day, whatever, you would probably, if you really want it, you'll do it. And that's what I thought with
makes
like
Mhm.
sense.
peanut butter mayonnaise, right? Like it wasn't terrible. I've eaten worse shit, but I really did think like, man, if I eat these things and whatever, this is like only protein we have, like was that kind of stuff. My mom, like I said, single mom, we didn't get assistance or anything like that, and I couldn't really eat like a bodybuilder or anything. So I just put together what I had. It didn't work, by the way. So don't try it. I don't think it's a good way. But I was just doing stuff like that. Had a home gym, lifting weights. I've always had something, but didn't really start getting serious with it until it's probably in my 30s. I'd gotten like a beach body thing and a set of those Bowflex 552s and a bench, right? And was kind
Mhm.
of doing I did that thing over and over and over again. I did realize pretty soon that I was limited by the 52 pounds that those were. I was doing like deadlifts with 52 pounds and talking to other people who had a physique that I thought I wanted, I want to look like that guy. And they would just tell me like, man, you've got to lift more weight. Like 50 pounds is not enough. I was like, but I'm holding two. I'm holding 105 pounds or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're going to
Mhm.
have to add more weight and stuff. And so, eventually I didn't think I would be able to afford a gym membership. So my wife got me, and I didn't want to go sign up for like a year gym membership and not be able to afford it and stuff. And so my wife
Mhm.
got me a membership for Christmas at Planet Fitness. And I went there and I told myself, if I make it this whole year with, going to the gym before work, I was going at 3 o'clock in the morning and lifting weights, which
3 o'clock in the fuck.
well, I got to be at work at 6, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And so, and I drive an hour at the time I was driving an hour away and, it was so I'd go to Planet Fitness, lift weights, and I made it probably 10 months or something like that. And before I was like, as soon as this is up, I'm going to get a membership at a bigger gym, one that, and I'll see if I can make it work. And I had to change my schedule because that one didn't stay open 24 hours and I couldn't go until after work and stuff. And my wife was like, just go now, and I was like, but I've got this stuff that's 2 months left. And she was like, it's $10 a month. Just go. You know what I mean? Like it's $20. Nobody cares. Just go to the other one. And as soon as I did, like, it's like the fishbowl effect, right? They talk about if you put like a fish in a bowl, the fish will only grow as big as the bowl is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Soon as I started lifting, when I was at Planet Fitness, I don't remember what's the weight limit on the dumbbells there, like 60 pounds or something like that.
Probably, yeah. I think it would
So,
vary club to club because it's like I have seen actual bench presses and squat racks in certain Planet Fitnesses,
yeah,
and I have seen others that
they're
legitimately only have Smith machines. So I think at least 15 years ago, when last time I've been in a Planet Fitness, like it did
yeah,
vary gym to gym.
they're franchises, and so that's
Yeah,
why
they
I believe that some of I don't know, but yeah, this one I can't remember if it went up to like 60 pounds or something like that. But mentally, you're like, oh, I can't lift those. Those are the heaviest ones in the building, right? And so you will mentally kind of limit what
cap
you
yourself
do
off.
and stuff.
Yeah,
And so I did the same kind of thing at the other place. I go down and I'd be like, but now
yeah.
I'm lifting 80s instead of the 40s or something like that. And I felt like I kind of grew pretty quickly, started growing much more rapidly, I guess, at that point, whenever I started really putting the time into heavier weights and things like that. And with, home gym stuff came about with that because I'd gotten rid of the Bowflex thing, and my gym that I was at was upgrading some of their stuff. And whenever they would upgrade their benches, I had bought like a couple of hammer strength benches and stuff. And I was just kind of putting together a few items that I could have at the house in the garage in like a little space or whatever. So that when I had a couple of buddies that I was lifting with that I'd met through the gym to, when they couldn't go or something like that, or if I couldn't make it, they closed at 9 at that gym. And so if you got there at like 7:30 even, they were eyeballing you like, so,
Get the
uh,
fuck out of here.
so those days where I wasn't able to, I would at least have the ability to lift weights at home, at least get some kind of a workout in and stuff. And then COVID hit, and I just went off the deep end. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
like a trauma response was like I had a bunch of like tools and woodworking gear and stuff like that, and I sold like all most of everything. I barely have anything left from that, if anything at all. I have like drills and things like that. I've replaced a few tools that I've realized I can't get rid of, but in my mind, I was like, I've sold everything because I went from a huge shop to nothing. You know what I mean? And have gradually just gotten this thing where I'm in there, you know, decorating my gym with Massonomics certified gym certificates and things like that. So
And
I
yeah,
guess
yeah.
it's always been a part in some way, but just not to varying degrees of what
Who do you think's worse, you or Jose, at completely revamping your gym over the last 5 to 10 years?
Jose. I
Yeah.
mean, if by worse you mean who's spending more money and who has a completely different gym from today versus where it was, like
He
if
is definitely probably worse, but like I don't
you
know
have
many.
to
You got to be
take
in
out
the
the
Mount Rushmore. Like out of like people like our core, like I don't know, like I don't know, maybe some other outliers, but like I can't. You're definitely up there. If I had to answer that question, like out of like everyone I follow on Instagram, like there's no way you're not in the top five of people that have at least you've redone
I
your gym completely.
I have redone my gym several times.
Yeah.
There was a
Whereas,
guy, so in my last episode, my most recent episode of Rep and Repeat, I talk about different stages of home gym or different
hmm
levels of home gym, and someone had commented on there that I missed one, and I totally agree. There should be something in between like 3 and 4 where and I've done this like numerous times, like where you have things like, for example, you've got a leg extension curl, right? And you've got this and that, but then you start upgrading those, right? Like it's like, so you're replacing it with the same thing, just a better version, and you do that with all of your equipment,
yeah.
during that additional phase there. And yeah, that's a very valid point. I've done that. I think Jose's transform reformation or whatever has only taken as long as it has because of the long lead times at Prime. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But he's placed those orders long, long ago. I mean, I have like three machines coming, and that's all I have room for, man.
Yeah.
And but yeah, his even the reason why it had stayed the way that it was because he's like he has the Rogue Seal Row in there right now that's going to go away as soon as he gets some other machine that he's waiting for to
Mhm.
replace it. You know what I mean? And like so, a lot of those things
Hmm.
that you've seen over the years have just been kind of a holding place until the replacement. So I don't know if he's better at reforming his gym or if he's worse for
You're
having
de
done it.
I would say
But
you're definitely on the Mount Rushmore of people that I know that have sold everything off and started over. Carp
that
would
is,
be up there too, but I think he does it more for the affiliates and or the the free shit and stuff whatnot, and for the review for the content aspect. You're not necessarily selling shit because you've already got content out of it and it has no more value to you, whereas a lot of the other guys are. Whereas content is like not even on the top five things you think about with your gym, even though you do
I
create content.
I try when I create content like the Prime stuff, my Prime affiliation stuff has dropped dramatically. But most of what so this is a difference I think between like man, you would think I like it. I enjoy it. I like a lot of things. I mean, I like knowing things. I like helping people with things. And there's something, that moment like when you're in a classroom and the teacher asks a question that you know the answer to, and you're like, ooh, ooh, pick me. I know the answer. I kind of get that
Hmm.
same sense from this stuff. So when I see people that have, I'm in a unique position with Prime where I have a lot of experience with their stuff and I know how the things work and I can answer these questions for people that don't. And I love doing that. And so I had before the affiliation ever came already sort of a reputation and a following of people who needed that from someone, in Prime and stuff. And that really, when they started the affiliate program, I joined because I was like, dude, I'm already here. You know what I mean? I've been buying this stuff. I've been in the system and I know the game better than anybody. I mean, I was drawn to Prime because they didn't do affiliates. You know what I mean? Like, because I
Hmm.
wasn't getting it shoved down my throat from people that I didn't know if I really trusted their intentions and things like that. And so it was this, but now it's pretty saturated. It's pretty flooded. I do still have people that are like, that will come to me for that purpose and I still get energy from it. And then the affiliate stuff I think it's funny this and I'm also not like Coop, Brandon, Gluck. Well, Gluck does it, but like Coop and they don't. I don't have the kind of reputation and following and stuff where I can pretend like those codes don't exist. You know what I mean? Like Brandon can do a whole ass video without ever mentioning, other than the fact that he has to, because people will assume that he's whatever. But he doesn't. I don't have that cool swagger. You know what I mean? I'm like, if I don't advertise it, if I don't say it, nobody will. You know
Yep,
what I
yep.
mean? So that's where I was with that for a long time, and it was fun. It's been fun, and also some of it is like like we said earlier. Sometimes you got to feed the social media machine, and I need some content. I need some whatever. That's how it started. Was I was like, fuck, man, I don't have time for whatever. I'm just gonna make some memes, and then it was like working. You know what I mean? So I was like, well, I'll just keep
Hmm.
making memes until whatever. But
How's juggling a couple different Instagrams now as someone that has to fucking have his finger on three or four of them? I definitely like I cannot keep up on all the content that I need to do on social media for sure, and I get
um,
lazy with it at times. But you only have two now, maybe
Well, so yeah, I've got two Instagrams and I'm only really doing most of the stuff like the Instagram. So I've got the Man Who Parks and Gym Instagram, and the hard part I think for me is not making the two the same. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Because it's
It's
like on
very hard to. I try to do my best to keep like
I,
not. I mean, I only do collabs every now and then, and it's mainly when like the worlds do collide thing.
yeah, it's like I'm struggling slightly because like rep rent repeat, it's like at zero, right? Man Who Parks and Gym, I got a big boost early, like during COVID time.
Hmm.
To get a boost on social media following, you really just had to be like mentioned by someone. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like you
yeah.
would like tag,
Jake got me probably for like at least three or four hundred
yeah,
several
you
hundred
like
followers over the
yeah,
years
somebody
on
like
my
I just remember like I'd be like, oh,
Gluck and
I'd share
Brandon and
something, I'd share something, then like Matt Pendergraph or Kyle Devine, Kaizen DIY or whatever would like would repost my content, tag me in it, and then all of a sudden I'd just be like blowing. I'd be like, oh my God, I just got, you know, what I mean, like my phone's just blowing up with follows. You know, I was like, I just went viral, you know, or whatever.
Like, I
But
got
but
14 new
I
followers.
didn't.
I'm the
I
man.
Yeah, I didn't. I got like 30 likes out of my content. Kyle would get like 3,000 or whatever, you know. And I'm like, how come? What's
Yeah.
happening here? You know, like,
We
what?
can't all be Kyle.
I know, right? And so I got a big boost from that. Now, growing this in Rep Rent Repeat, it's kind of a weird thing because it's sponsored by Garage Gym Radio, right?
True.
I'm essentially with my, I mean, I don't want to oversell the podcast or the value of the podcast or anything like that. I don't know what it's doing, but essentially I'm putting all this into Garage Gym Radio's channel. Like any following, anything like that that I get and whenever I do that, it helps to grow that channel. And if Jake and I should split ways, I have a podcast with no following. You know what
Yeah,
I
that's
mean?
true.
I have to pray that everybody follows me over or something. You know what I mean? And so what
Well, I
I
think
thought
it.
was,
Oh, I think on my Overcast Cast app, it actually does. It doesn't just show. It doesn't show up on GGR. It shows up on Rep Ramp Repeat as a standalone podcast, at least. Whereas
oh,
I think before, when you got, let me check.
yeah, well, on Spotify and Apple and stuff, it will. Yeah, he
Okay,
did.
yeah,
He
yeah.
put those on. He put those on their own channel, and he was like,
But
whenever
on, but yeah, on YouTube, it's
on
only going to be
YouTube,
On
on
it's on
YouTube,
there.
GGR.
it's
Yeah, yeah,
under
I
the
see what you
yeah
mean.
Yeah,
Yeah,
share.
yeah, on YouTube,
but
it's on that one. I forget about those other ones, honestly,
I
until
fucking
something.
hate. Hi,
When you
you're
get
one
it,
of the you like your podcast on YouTube. I
well,
don't know. Well, it's
I
because
don't.
you have YouTube Premium, so you can avoid the
Yeah,
ads and shit. I don't.
it,
I will never pay for YouTube Premium because fuck that. I got enough goddamn subscriptions in my life. So,
the
you know.
the
Well, I
thing.
heard you had room for one more.
Well, yeah, I did. I was surprised. I'm glad that Joey still came on the podcast tonight because, ironically, we did cut ties with Netflix after like a 10-year run. It got to be too much, and everything else is going up, and we might bring it back into the fold, but there's like
It
actively nothing I'm watching. So in 6 months, when some new shows come out and let it build up, we might get it for a couple months. But it's
yeah.
that $20 can get us dinner one night.
Yeah, well, that's good, man. I mean, I need to go through those from time to time, and I feel like I probably still have like Peacock or something from the Olympics. Like we watch the Olympics
Hmm.
for some reason.
Peacock's got some. If you watch it, it's what
I
sucks.
don't,
Is like I watch a little bit of everything, so it's like I couldn't afford to have all the channels I wanted if I didn't get some of it by
I don't watch much.
pirating means.
Like I don't watch a lot of
I
TV. I
watch
don't
too
watch
much
a lot of shows. I don't know what I'm doing, man. I'm just doing,
podcasting.
I guess. You know what I mean? I mean, when I'm not doing my own thing, I don't know what I'm consuming because and it's always been that way. Like I grew up without, I mean, we had a TV, but it's the weird, I'm like when my dad was there, it would be like if he came in and you were watching TV, it didn't matter if you just turned the TV on or if you've already done your homework or whatever. He'd come in and be like, "Turn off the TV. You need to go outside or whatever." You know, it's like
Yeah, yeah.
and stuff like that. And so it just wasn't a thing. And so I remember even feeling like a weirdo when I was a kid because I could never really relate to people because they would always talk about like TV shows or a commercial or something. I'd be like, ah, think about it. You know what I mean? And like music, like he wouldn't let us listen to music unless it was like his music, which was classical music and stuff. Like, no, kid, you know what I mean? Like, "Wait, you guys heard that new Mozart? You know, so so it's always been one of those things too. Like, I don't know, you know, but even with like Netflix and stuff, like we have it, I turn it on and we'll start something, but like usually it's at night, bedtime, and once my head hits the pillow, dude, I'm done. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fall asleep so fast if I'm watching something.
Yeah. And then I wake up at 3 because, been sitting on my prostate all day and I got to piss and then I can't get back to and then I get up at 4 so I can because that's usually I look and I'm like, fuck, I'm like wide awake and then I get
Yeah, the worst is like when it's within a half hour or even well, I guess a half hour is not as bad. When it's 3 minutes before your alarm goes off, like there's nothing worse than that. Like I'd rather just get woke up by my alarm. When I have that hour, the hour's kind of tough because it's like you could really get back to sleep, but then if you do, it's almost too hard of a sleep.
if
So
I
then,
could,
then you just
yeah.
kind of essentially have like an hour of bonus phone time. So it's kind of free
Uh,
time, but it's just like I don't know. It just sucks all the way around. Getting up that early just fucking is never fun. But
Keith, you
going
want to hit us with an FMK?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's see. Let me scroll down. Oh wow, we got a lot of stuff to skip through. Da, 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 da. Holy shit. Um, well, I've got a lot of, music talk here. I guess you're a self-taught guitar guy, it seems like. So you got a little guitar experience. So I'm gonna hit you with an FMK. So a fuck, marry, kill of three separate guitar brands, I guess. So a Les Paul, a SG, and an Explorer. Are those three that you can go through? Someone put like a fourth one on there too. So if Flying V, is that one that you would like to substitute one of the other ones with? Because
I
you
would
only
marry
gonna go three.
I would marry the Flying V.
All
I
right.
fuck the God, dude. Honestly, all right, marry the Flying V just because it's. I have my reasons for all these.
Mhm.
I would I would kill the Explorer and I would fuck the Les Paul.
And then music, is that something you just kind of? It just said self-taught specifically, and it wasn't. That's just
So
something you just literally bought a guitar and bought a book or something, or
uh
YouTubed it, or
so I have a pretty musical family and I'm like kind of a black sheep. But somehow music is one of those things all relate to on some level in my family. Like my mom plays the piano, my dad played the violin, he played in the orchestra and stuff. My grandpa played the fiddle. He played with like I don't know if you guys he played on like Bob Wills and the Texas Playboys radio show and stuff like that when I was a kid. Um, it's a really big deal, guys. But then my brother plays, my sister plays the piano, my brother plays guitar, and he actually owns a couple of music studios, Allegro Guitars, Tucson area, and you've got kids that they don't just play guitar, they but uh, I grew up. My brother always played. I mean, he went to school and played classical music and stuff, and always have just there's always been a guitar, and I just wanted. I don't know. I mean, I'm not good at it. I guess self-taught just means that no one ever, wanted to invest in getting me lessons
yeah.
or anything like that.
Have you ever sold any of your guitars to fund the gym equipment?
I don't know. I have not sold a guitar in a very long time. There was a time where as you've seen me go balls deep, all in and off the rails with gym equipment, I have done that with musical equipment. And there was a long time there where it's like I get into a hobby and I would find ways to make that hobby.
Your personality?
Well, it's no, it's like self-sustaining financially.
Okay, okay. So like do a
Mhm.
little flipping.
Yeah, and it was like with guitar stuff, I could do this stuff where it's like if I invest a little bit of money here or I find a guitar somewhere or whatever that it's kind of like vintage weights and stuff when you start to recognize things and you see something and you're like, hey, it's a good deal. I can have that for a little bit. I can use it, get my use out of it or whatever, and then whenever I go to sell it, I won't lose money on
It's
that.
not yours, it's just your turn with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Mhm.
you're just borrowing. I was able to do that a lot, and I kind of snowballs with musical equipment and stuff, and you start getting in these circles. They know you can go to them for things, they come to you and stuff. And eBay was a big thing back in the day too, where I'd know I could what I could get out of things on eBay and stuff. And so, um, yeah, that with music stuff, I guess.
Did you ever utilize your woodworking skills to renovate any of those guitars?
Not really. I mean, I have fixed guitars, like, broken neck or something like that with I guess woodworking
Spinal.
stuff, but not, I mean, and there were a couple times where I was like, I'd buy like a kit. I'd really rather just buy like a kit, but they're always shitty. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you get a good one. You just get this basically like a working model to look at when it's like, I would rather just, those are a decent one of those will still be 300 or 400 bucks, which is cheap by comparison, but I would rather spend that money toward a nice guitar if I'm going to have one that has resale value. What kit model bullshit. You know what I mean? In the guitar world, that's like having a DIY barbell. You know what I mean? Like nobody ever wants that.
Hmm. How about a little Mount Rushmore?
Hit them up.
Yeah. So in addition to your gym stuff, being into music. It also seems like you've traveled a lot of places. So what would you put as your Mount Rushmore for countries you've visited?
I'm glad you asked that one.
Dude, okay. So countries outside of the US, I'm assuming you mean the US is
I mean, you can include the
I
US
mean,
if you want, or
I
maybe
think,
that's the alien
yeah,
face.
yeah, there you go.
now I like okay, so Rome is a great city in Italy. I really like that city. I don't know why. Maybe it's just where we were at that time or something, but it's like
Mhm.
it's something really fucking cool about, we were riding in an Uber or whatever and like round this corner and it's just the streets are like cobblestone, like this black kind of rock stone, and they're all, I mean, they're not like, it's not like ancient Rome streets or anything like that. They're, modern, but
Gladiator?
they're all this carved stone or whatever, and it's really cool. You come around this big ass corner and it's a city, but in the backdrop there is the Colosseum or something, and it's really fucking cool, man, how there's ancient ruins with city stuff, and none of the city landscape or the cityscape looks particularly new. But I love the way that big cities repurpose old buildings and stuff. Like when you see like a
Mhm.
McDonald's in a bank from the 1500s or something like that. You know what I mean? Like it's pretty cool. I mean, even though it's a McDonald's or whatever, but you know what I'm saying? Like there's just something really cool about Rome, the history there. And this is it used to be an empire, and you're standing in a place, you're like, oh, that's that scene, that image of like fucking Stalin or whatever, and you're like, this is cool, man. I mean, not that that's cool, but this is where you are in history, and you're seeing this, and you're like, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know that
Yep.
it's just a really cool, and like it was where we stayed was within walking distance of a lot of the kind of touristy shit. And even at night, like 11 o'clock at night or whatever, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, so my wife and I'd walked, we'd go have a drink, we'd walk somewhere. And it just, where we were when we were there and all that stuff, everything felt safe and it felt like it was just a great experience. We did like a food tour there. It was great, man. And I mean, everywhere in Italy that we went was really great. I like France. Paris is one of those things. Like I didn't think I would love it because we spent a lot of time when we went to art museums and things like that. We went to the Louvre twice, but we did this thing where Paris was our first trip to Europe, and it was one of those things like when my wife and I were dating, and a trip like that was a pipe dream. Like that was something that would never
Mhm.
ever come to fruition. It was like we talked about it, but in my mind, I was like, hey, we're never. This was me just being Rizzler, right? We just wooing this girl, right? About this idea, this trip that we would never be able to. And what happened, 15 years later or whatever, we were at like a benefit thing. We had a little bit too much to drink, and we had been to Disney World before, and I know what that cost. And we were looking at these like silent auction things. There were like several different boards or whatever, and I was like, saw what the entry level at Disney was with all of the amenities that you got and stuff. And I was like, man, if you can get that one for that price, but people were bidding on it. But I was like, then all these other ones must be a great price for their entry level cost too, right? And so I was like, what
Mhm.
if we bid on that Paris one at this, and we just won't pay any more than this? We will figure it out. You know what I mean? We'll figure out how to pay for it. And we ended up winning it and stuff, and got there and learned a lot of stuff about it. But my big long drawn out story here is when we got there, we had all these things that package included a bunch of things like day tours and trips and things like that. Well, we learned that a lot of times when you're traveling, especially, things just take longer than you anticipate. And so we weren't able to do all of the things that we had scheduled in for our downtime. And so we were like at this thing where it was like our last day there. We were about to get on this like long day trip thing where you're in a group, like a guided tour with a group of people. And we're just kind of like, those are, there's a double-edged sword with those. I mean, there's pros and cons. We learn a lot of things. We see a lot of things in a different way that we wouldn't have, but we're also stuck on their timetable with people that we
Mhm.
wouldn't really otherwise care to experience Paris with. You know what I mean? And so we were kind of standing there, and it was like, do you even want to, my wife was like, I really wish we could have done this and that. And I was like, well, let's just call an audible. Fuck this. And we'll go, whatever. And she was like, but we spent so much. And I was like, fuck it. It's our time. We may never be back here. So like I told the lady at the window, I was like, I just want to let you know. And she was like, sir, it's already paid for. And I was like, fuck it, take that guy instead. I don't care, whatever we're doing. So we just like left there, and I was like, you had this kind of moment of appreciation for like, your the time value of money and things like that, and like just do what you want to do and stuff. So that spot, I would put that on my Mount Rushmore. For that, it was a good learning experience. Prague was really cool. It's one of those kind of city. We went to I think it was last October. Went to Munich for Oktoberfest, and then we went over to Prague, and we did like a day trip to where's that? Where the Sound of Music is, Austria, and Prague was a really cool city that I wasn't. It's one of those things. That was like that was one of those moments. I'm putting this on Mount Rushmore thing because it was one of those cities. Like when we went to Paris, we went to Rome, all the like Italy places. I was like, we're coming back here. We're bringing the kids here. One day we're going to do something, whatever. Prague was one where I had this kind of. I have a lot of sense of my own mortality, and this was one of those where I had this moment while I was in it, where I was able to appreciate that this view of this city in this moment right now is one that I am never going to get back because I'm probably never going to come here again. And it's not that it's not a great city.
Mhm.
It's not that I wouldn't go there again. It's just that there are so many places in the world that I still want to see. That one's not as easy accessible. It's you know what I mean? It's whatever. But that was one of those kind of like I do have I like when I have those moments where I stop in the middle of something really busy and just appreciate it where I am today and for what it is. You know what I mean? So I put that on there.
Mhm.
Alaska, honestly, man, was probably my fourth Mount Rushmore thing. That was a really, really cool trip. We learned a lot on that one. What we did was we went up to Anchorage, like flew into Anchorage and then rented a car, and then we went up north to Denali. We went to like Talkeetna along the way. It's just all up into the upper interior. We went to Fairbanks, which that was another one where we called an audible. We had 2 nights in Fairbanks. It was like the most. Sorry if any of you guys live in Fairbanks. Your city sucks, and there's a reason why.
Oh, we just
Your
lost
city was,
Kim. He, can't say
yeah.
anything bad about Alaska.
Dude, really, Alaska at all, or like Fairbanks?
I don't, I couldn't tell you where Kim's at without looking at the
Okay.
map.
Well, Kim, the suicide rate is really high in Fairbanks. I'm sure you know
I think it's
that.
very high in all the entire state of Alaska.
Well, Fairbanks is one that's so far north that they have like a solstice or whatever, and maybe it's that way everywhere. I don't know. When
Mhm.
we were there, the guy was that was our guide, Ricky, was like telling us all about this, and like, that was cool. But we got there and we were like, we got to get the fuck out of Fairbanks, man. It's so depressing. There's nothing to do. Did go to a really cool brewery there, Hoodoo. If you're happen to be there, it was a
I
cool
just
brewery.
had a thought. Has that been your background the whole night, Joey, since you logged in?
It has, yeah. We
Okay,
talked
This one,
and we were
yeah.
literally talking about the Northern Lights
yeah,
before he even showed up.
Yep.
That's fucking funny. Okay,
yeah,
because
yeah,
we kind of touched on the Northern Lights story before we got this rolling. So
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
glad I pieced that together. Well, I think that wraps up that. I got two that stick out to me and funny or embarrassing. I know we're going a little late when we got to get into to unpaid underrated, but I want to hear, make these rapid fire if you want, unless it's kind of worth it. The scar above your eye during COVID. How'd you get that? Is there a good story there?
Oh, yeah. So my home gym during COVID, I tried to I thought COVID would last about 3 weeks, so I was trying not to spend a lot of money on things. And I makeshift DIY'd I got this, those, they're like steel plates. They go inside, like if you ever rented like a U-Haul or something like that, there are these steel plates along the edge of those that have slots in them. And there's these big
Mhm.
steel like clips that are made to clip inside those slots. I can't think of what they're called. It's probably called like slot rail. That's probably what it's called.
You're a
Uh,
slot.
and yeah, big old slot. And anyway, I had got some of those, and I was like, yeah, I can, I'll bolt this shit to the studs in my wall in here in my spare bedroom, and I will make like a makeshift rack. And I was like, I had these big ideas for what I was going to do with this, and I got it all up. My only regret there, well, not my only regret. Okay, my first regret was testing it on myself without like, a fucking helmet. But like, and why did I go full send? I don't know. But all I had were a few plates, a a, a very dangerous cap barbell where the sleeve would fall off, and then I had like a whole bunch of those body elastics, elastic bands, and like that body elastics thing was pretty sweet. It came with like a curl bar, which actually good bends and stuff. Uh, and then the bands, and I had like a little thing. So I had got that. I bolted it in, and bolted several of them in, and I was testing it out. I was like, man, if it can handle me pulling every one of these bands for like a low row, then I am fucking golden. And I did. I put every one of these bands on her for the most that it could do for like my first test. Dipshit, don't do what I do. And so, and I pull myself, and I get myself in position. I'm sitting on my sweet little hammer strength bench, and I pull it as like pull it back, and I'm like testing it before I record it to send it to my buddy to show him what an amazing, you know, like ingenuity I came up with or whatever. And I
Oh, that'd have
should
been
have
the
probably
best fail
recorded.
video
I
ever.
know I should have recorded it because I could have made my
You
content
would have
would
actually gone viral that time.
I wouldn't
Oh
have.
yeah,
Really
Whoever
viral.
definitely.
shared it, whoever shared
Yeah,
my
yeah,
content would have gone viral with it. Um, But so yeah, I did that. I put that on there, and yeah, it just I got it back, and I was just like right at the time that I was like, "Fuck yeah, bitch!" It like
yeah.
snaps out of it, like breaks the nuts and everything, and it comes out of the wall. Rubber band effect slaps me in the forehead, and yeah,
Ouch.
I get like a 3-inch gash above my
Ooh.
eye. I mean, I could have lost. I was
No,
playing.
that you literally would have lost your eye.
Yeah, I was
You would have
playing.
been a fucking
I
one-eyed
was
pirate.
I was playing baseball at the time with a guy who had one eye, and I remember like not even thinking about
Wish
it.
we had two between the two of you.
I was like, Tori, dude, I could have lost a fucking eye, and he just kind of looked at me like, yeah, that would have been bad, And I was like, oh, yeah, my bad, But but yeah, so yeah, it hits me in the eye. I kind of like I don't I didn't pass out or anything, but there is a little bit of time there where my wife said that she could hear me like moaning, and I don't remember making any moaning sounds, but I did. I remember like putting my hand up, and you can feel the blood and stuff, and
Oh yeah, that's a fucking
head wounds
ruined
are,
the carpet
are
in that bedroom.
head wounds are bad, and so I was kind of like trying to figure out what had happened and whatever, and like also trying not to scare the kids, and so
Yeah, that's
I'm
a
like
tricky thing.
holding my head shut, and I'm trying to tell my wife like, hey, I think I might need to go to the emergency
Urgent
room.
care.
Remember, this is like early COVID,
Oh
right?
yes, you're like
So
you're going in to get stitches like a dumbass when like there's
I'm
people fucking dying in
ground
the
zero.
hospital.
Yeah.
You're taking a bed away from somebody's
Yeah,
grandma dying
yeah,
because
they
you
treat me
fucking
like I'm patient zero
the
and stuff.
longest wait ever. You're just sitting in
Yeah.
your car waiting for the text and just bleeding everywhere.
And so yeah, I got this all
Mm.
stitched up and stuff, and everybody at the time or whatever, people were like, "Well, that's yeah, at least you got like a really cool scar." I'm like, I don't know if it's that cool, but yeah, I've got a that is what also helped to spiral my home gym into what it has become because my wife, I was like, okay, I think I might need to invest a little bit of money, and she was like, buy whatever you need so that you don't die, and I was like,
Yeah, there you
and so
go.
that's so what had happened. So I went and I got that Rogue wall mounted thing, and then I was using that, and I was like, fuck, what if this thing fails? So, it's just spiraled from there. Everything attributes back to that.
Nice. The only thing I'd probably ask, I only ask this because someone did submit it. If you don't have a story that sticks out that you're comfortable telling, then we'll just move right on. But someone's specific words were he has some funny white knuckle IBS stories.
I was just about to joke before, but like
We do
whatever
like
you
a
were
good
about
poop
to say,
story, so entirely up to you.
whatever you were about to say, I was going to say, I hope this isn't about the time that I shit in my driver's seat at 80 miles an hour. But
That's, I mean, I don't know I think I think we have to dive into that a little bit if that's the most memorable one.
yeah, no, man, I've got so many of these stories, and I just love to tell them.
Entirely up to you. Like,
I
and
so I have
if you are uncomfortable, we don't have to. I don't want to put you on the
do I
spot.
look
Entirely up.
uncomfortable to you right now, Casey?
Well, you
Do I
said you
look
had issues with public speaking, so I don't want to make you talk
well,
about shit in your pants if it hurts your,
you know,
emotional
I,
well-being.
I've seen your view count, buddy. I'm good. I'm just messing.
Yeah,
Just
if I get 69, it's a good day.
Um, I so let me preface this with I no longer have this issue. I have discovered after like case studies, being a case study and stuff that if I don't eat like an asshole, I won't shit up my back. You know what I'm saying? Like if I just like I went through my whole life here, like as a kid, and when we're talking about being skinny and stuff, like I had this, my life was like eating, and I can't eat too far from a bathroom because people would. I just thought that was normal. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, yeah, no,
I had it really bad as a kid also.
I'm just that guy that, I just eat and I shit. You know what I mean? Like I got as soon as I get out of school, I've got my 3:15 shit that I got to take. I can't go anywhere. Like my first wife would get really frustrated because I would be like, I had to schedule things around. Like, no, I can't go there. It's too far from, I'll have to take a shit, whatever. And I'm not shitting in public. But I'll shit in my pants, but
Yeah.
like, no. So it took me a long time to learn that, if you just eat like pizza buffet or fried chicken or all these things just back to back to back all the time and don't, whatever that I or not you, if I eat that way, I will get stomach issues and stuff. Um, and and so yeah, I also did this like young man's game of flirting with the devil where I would eat like an asshole for every single meal as much as I possibly could all the time and whatever and just, with reckless abandon. And then also in my commute to work, because I've always had a commute of at least an hour somewhere, whether if I lived in Muskogee and worked in Tulsa or Tulsa and vice versa, whatever, where I would just drink ungodly amounts of coffee on my way to work, right? And so it's a terrible combination, and it's definitely not a game I'm ever going to win. So this particular time, I'm driving. I know there's only one stop between me and there. It is at a McDonald's, and I know when I'm gonna make it and when I'm not. And I'm like driving, and at that point in this particular time where I'm like, yes, white knuckles, I'm clenching, like my tailbone is popped because I'm clenching so hard. I'm standing up in, my feet are on the floorboard, but I am like knees locked, standing up, doing everything I can, using every single muscle in my body to keep this fucking demon inside me, right? And I can see it. There's a 2 mile to the McDonald's 2 mile sign between me and there, and I see it, and I just know right at that point. It's like, that phenomenon, like when you gotta go, the closer you get to your bathroom, the less, what I mean, like the harder you gotta go,
Yeah.
the harder to roll
I've
it and
shit my
stuff.
pants walking into a bathroom before, so yeah, that's
So yeah, well, yeah, yeah, like have to throw your underwear away in a fucking public
Mhm.
bath, or just cut the cancer out with your
Yep.
keys.
I've like shit
Um,
on the floor
I
trying to make it to the bathroom. It's been
Yes.
horrible. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, that didn't
Yeah.
work.
God, just all your life's decisions in that moment, in that pile. So yeah, I'm going and I'm already at this place where I'm like, I'm not, gotta get there, gotta get there. And then I see that 2 mile sign and I just lose like slowly, right? And I'm just trying to hang on to everything. Like I'm just feeling my dignity, my everything just fucking leak out of me, just like it's like that feeling when you step in the mud, you know what I mean? And you just feel it between your toes. Except this wasn't my, and I'm just like, I am a grown ass man driving. And so like I basically like at that point, what do you do? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
what do you do? And
that's a sick day at that point,
I'm
I think.
probably 40 minutes away from home, 20 minutes away from work. I'm not going to work, you know what I mean? Like,
No,
and so I'm just like,
gotta
I
find a
don't,
truck stop and actually take a shower at that point.
I just turned around and went home and I called my
Yeah.
wife and I was like, I'm just sitting in my own shit, dude. I mean, it's better than sitting in somebody else's, I guess,
Yeah.
in my
Mhm.
driver's seat, right? Like of my different vehicle at the time, whatever. But I'm just like, I can't even look at myself. You know what I mean? Like I am a shadow of my former self. Call my wife and I was like, I need you to do me a big favor. I need you, I know, I need you to just don't ask any questions. I need you to give me a towel and put a towel in a trash bag
In the garage.
in the garage and
And
stay away for,
don't
you know
talk to
what
me
I mean? Like,
don't talk to me
yeah,
the rest of the day.
yeah, don't talk to me until I come to you. And then, I will explain.
Did you
I,
end up making it to work later that day, or did you just take a full-blown sick
oh
day
man,
and be in
full blown
shame?
sick day, full blown sick day.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I didn't
that's
get
fair.
into details, but yeah, and there were other times like where I get lunch and whatever, and I had to call my boss and be like, "Hey, I'm not going to be able to make it back." And they're like, what do you mean?" I was like, "I just put me down for leave." And this particular boss was like super needed to know, you know what I mean? And I'm trying to like
Be yeah,
keep my
discreet.
own privacy here as I'm talking about it on my fucking podcast.
Well, I
But
mean, with really low
I'm like,
view count though.
yeah, yeah. So I'm like, I don't want to whatever, but yeah, I've got so many of these shitty stories,
That's
man.
good
From
stuff. Well, that was a good one.
but
Well, at one point, I do have to. At no point were you like, "Am I better off just risking getting an indecent exposure and shitting on the side of the road?"
God no.
Or okay,
I would rather shit
shit.
in
Okay.
my pants
Well,
in
I know
my
how much of a car guy you are. Well, so would you?
well,
Okay,
this
so
was
your okay, so your new car because you have a nice fancy car now. Would you shit if the option was shit on the side of the road or shit in the? Because the hard part is if you can just shit in your pants, but like the likelihood that the shit's not going to come out your waistband or out your bottom. I guess it all depends. If you had a dress shirt tucked in, it would probably all stay in. But if you were just
here's
wearing
what
a
I like to
t-shirt or
believe.
shorts, it would definitely come out.
Here's what I like to believe that I would do today if I were in that position. I would like to believe that I have so much experience with shitting in pants, in driver seats, in truck stop shower stalls or whatever,
Oh God,
that
waffle stomp.
I would have the wherewithal to be able to like pull over and I wouldn't shit in the driver's seat of my car that I have today. It has those like perforated seats with heated and
Hmm.
cooled.
Oh, you'd have to spend like three
I'm
grand
not
to get a whole new seat.
yeah, I'm not shitting in the perf, man. You know what I mean? But what I like about this car, and what was one of the things that really drove me to it, is that it doesn't have carpet. It's got rubberized
Oh,
floors.
you just get in the back and shit in the back.
I could shit in the back
Yeah,
and
yeah. If
just
you have,
hose it out or
there you
whatever.
go.
You know what I mean? Like that, I could.
Or just keep a garbage. You have to keep an emergency garbage bag so you can shit in the garbage bag.
If I still lived that life, if Golden
Oh yeah, if
Corrals
you
and
so ate like an
pizza
asshole.
buffets were
Yeah.
still my lifestyle, I would probably keep provisions in place. But I
Do you
don't.
just find that just like veggies and meat is kind of your go-to then, or like what's?
Um, no, I mean I can still eat pizza. I just can't eat all the pizza I can eat every time I eat. Do you know
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? Like if I eat
The,
Hmm.
so doing
pizza
more like the
back to back,
80-20 kind of thing.
I guess. I mean, I just, and I just don't, I just try to like listen to, I mean, I have a bad habit of overeating. Like I don't eat until, I mean, I don't stop eating until I'm miserable, right?
Hmm.
And that is something that I've had to try to change is eat more frequently, less quantity. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And then also, yeah, and just don't eat junk food, like fast food. I don't eat a lot of fast food. It's not like I'm eating healthy necessarily. I'm just not eating a lot
over.
of shitty overeating and just a lot of things that people know are just shitty foods. You know
That
what I
makes
mean?
sense.
Hmm.
Well, Joey, does anything else stand out to you before we before we hump into unpaid or underrated that you wanted to bring up?
No, I had something, but I'm gonna just ask it in unpaid and
Yep, that were
underrated.
yeah, yeah. Don't you're not yeah you're not pigeonholed to what we have written up there. I more often than not find a topic that doesn't fit into the flow of the podcast and just throw it into unpaid. So good deal. All right. So anyone listening, we have a relatively new game that we created here all by ourselves. We've been definitely impersonated by a few other podcasts as of late, but we are unpaid or underrated, and this is our game. So we're gonna ask Jason a handful of questions here, and he's gotta go through and use his druthers. And if he says unpaid, it's probably because it's overrated because no one wants to be unpaid, and if it's underrated, it means it's a good thing. So we're going to give him six individual things, and he's going to give us his druthers and give us a solid unpaid or underrated for the answer. So I'm going to hit you with a few first, and we'll pass it over to my weekly co-host here, Big Joey. Unpaid or underrated? I want to hear about Disney cruises. You touched on them earlier. Actually, no. More specifically, did you got married on a Disney cruise, didn't you?
I did.
So getting married on a Disney cruise, uh, unpaid or underrated?
Underrated.
All right. Anything specific that stuck out?
It's something that's probably too personal for me
What?
again, but
Yeah, don't anything your wife's gonna get mad at, bud.
oh no, no, not no. I'm just like it was one of those things.
Did the family come along and stuff too? I guess I'm trying to
Yeah,
figure
yeah.
that out.
It
Okay.
was why we got married on the Disney cruise was
Hmm.
I didn't grow up taking vacations and things like that, right? I think that should be obvious given the history I've given you here. But my wife really wanted to take the kids to Disney World. We also had our oldest daughter very linear in thinking and stuff, and she needed this kind of marked. It would benefit her for to have this kind of marked moment where I went from being like the guy on the couch to being a having a more permanent role in the home. And so it was like, well, we could do this kind of joint thing where we take the kids to a family vacation to Disney World, and then also get married, while or something. And my wife was like, well, we could do the cruise, and so it turned out to be this kind of it. we did the Disney cruise and Disney World. We got married, and it was like, well, if you're doing the cruise, you can just add like another grand or something like that and get married. And so anyway, we did that. And so I've always told this story of like I'm not like a Mickey Mouse person, but I did learn on that trip that when you take your kids to Disney World and stuff, like it is not even about them. It's about you experiencing life through their eyes. And so
Hmm.
there's like this really cool age where your kids, if they're into Disney stuff or whatever, like they think that you cannot convince them that those Disney princesses and stuff are not real. And there's and like nostalgic about it now. And I'm always like, anytime somebody's like, I was like, I'll go to Disney World. I'll go get Disney tattoos. I don't care. You know, I guess maybe I am a Disney. I wouldn't go there without my kids. I say that. Fuck, I've been there without my kid. Maybe I am a goddamn Disney adult. I don't know. But yeah, no, so totally underrated, at least from in my experience.
Awesome. Unpaid or underrated cutting your own grass.
Oh, that is unpaid.
Good
Yeah.
deal. So, if anyone's familiar with Jason from back in the day, I think when I first met him, probably 3 or 4 years ago, when we first started doing the Garage Gym Radio podcast that Jake would have us on, it was back when he still had his hydraulic lift or his electric lift to hoist, where his mower sat on, and he actually would hoist it up into the rafters. So, and then I think once he started subbing that out, he was able to get rid of all that contraption. Did you end up selling that whole hoist and shit on
Yeah.
Marketplace? That was
Yeah.
what did that person plan on using that for? Just to go up into his attic, I guess, or
Um,
like a loft lift of some
I mean,
sort?
yeah, I mean, that's what it is. So
Oh,
I,
because so it wasn't something you
yeah.
retrofitted. Like that is
No, no,
exactly
it
what
is
it is.
made. Yeah, it is
Ah,
made
okay.
for that purpose.
Okay. Good deal. Hit you with my last one here. Hopefully it wasn't what Joey was trying to pull down, but I saw that you had recently you bought yourself a tattoo gun, so I'm going to assume you're doing some self tattooing. Am I correct there? Or are
Um,
you tattooing other people? So
I haven't tattooed anybody or myself. I've just been playing around with the machine.
oh,
I
so
mean,
you're tattooing on like fruit or something, or like some like
um,
fake thing. Like I don't know what you would tattoo on as a test.
I bought some. They have these little ink pens that
Hmm.
can go into the gun or into the machine, um, and I've just been using that to I'll draw some pictures or I'll print it off some pictures, and then I'm just kind of tracing it to try to get my hand steady for line work and stuff. I do have some needles, and yeah, normally you would use like fruit where they have some
Hmm.
fake skins that you can buy, and
So
uh,
what's the end goal with that then? I guess to sell.
I don't know, just playing around with it and see if I like. I mean, if I do, I mean, I don't know I don't know if there's anybody who plays around with a tattoo machine and doesn't eventually self
Yeah,
tattoo.
yeah. That's
So I wouldn't rule it out altogether.
all
But
right.
if I did, I would probably just. I've got a few areas like on my arms that, or at least my right, I mean my left arm, where these dudes
Do a
charge
little
like
filler.
they'll charge you like $300 an hour, even if you're just touching up like a little spot that didn't get saturated well or something. So
But like you'd have
it,
to get so I know how OCD you are. You'd have to get so good at self tattooing to
I
like
think,
touch
I,
your body to then
well,
like not be upset that you didn't spend $300.
I think if it's just, I mean, this arm is fucking blue. I mean, it's like 90% blue. And I think if I could just, I mean,
Uh,
I wouldn't go in and try to clean up line work or anything like that on myself. But I would, if I got proficient with filler, I would, with shading and
all
stuff like
right.
that, I would.
Okay. Well, since self set, so it sounds like we're TBD on that since we don't have firsthand
Yeah.
experience. So I will throw a fourth one at you. Unpaid or underrated? Trying to sell a lunk alarm and the little brief story that goes with that.
Well, that is unpaid. Um,
Yes, I vicariously lived through that through the group
yeah.
chat. I'm like, this motherfucker.
Yeah, I didn't. I thought it was a joke about I mean, the guy really wanted it, but fucking Facebook, man. You know that if you're not dealing with a weirdo, then you are the weirdo. Always one in every transaction.
Yeah, indeed. All right. Well, um, why I have it on the thought before I hand it over to Joey here. So I know you don't listen to too much Massonomics, but I do implore you to listen to this coming week's. So the one that'll drop Sunday night, because you were actually a topic of conversation briefly when they did. I can't remember where if it came up under. I don't know if it came. Oh no, it came up under. because who didn't? Oh, fuck, what was it? I don't remember now. But nonetheless, it got them both motivated to talk about if they each were gonna host an episode of Massonomics by themselves and just do a
Okay.
solo thing. So then they talked for probably
Mm,
a good. There might have been about 5 minutes back and forth talking about like how that would work, if it how different it would be. So I think you would get some value and some appreciation out of that. I know I'm butchering like because it was during the pre-show, or no, it wasn't the pre-show. It was actually the episode, but it's like 10, it was like 11 o'clock at night, so I'd only remember bits
Right.
and pieces of it. But
Yeah.
listen to next week's, even if you just skim it. But somewhere in there, they definitely reference your podcast briefly and then kind of go off on a side tantrum, side something.
tangent.
Tangent, yeah, not tantrum. Yeah, tangent. Yeah, so with that, I will hand it over to my weekly co-host who's always here, Big Joy.
Yeah. Unpaid or underrated name brand Legos.
Those are also unpaid. Um, I bought a Lego set. I don't know. You know what? Somehow this came up at home gym con too, like where I went on this weird like
So the
rant about Lego.
Barbie and Legos.
Legos are really fucking expensive, and I don't
I've heard.
do a lot of Legos or anything like that. But there was a time there where I had ordered some on Temu to kind of get my feet wet on Temu, I guess. But it's like a $200 set or something like that, and it was like
Hmm.
30 or 40 bucks on Temu. The box is weird. It's like a weird cardboard, and also the artwork on it and stuff. It's like almost Lego, but it's made some changes. Then you open it up, and everything inside there looks exactly like Lego, but they don't have the Lego brands on the little nubbies or anything like that.
Mm.
Everything fit together. It all went together. It looks just like a Lego thing. You know, it. I don't know what voodoo they're putting in the Temu Legos or anything, but there was one little thing. This was a Land Rover model thing, and it has a roof rack that's supposed to go on it, and the roof rack was all wonky. But other than that, everything went together just fine. So I'm like,
Was there
it,
was there shit on the driver's seat?
no, I didn't fit in the Land Rover. That was a
Oh, you're right. You're right. Yeah,
don't.
my
If you
mistake.
ever if you're ever at an auction and you're looking for a Honda Civic hybrid, don't buy one if it's like a tan color with
Yeah.
leather interior.
Well,
Um,
the seat shouldn't be tan, but it was brown
right.
after this.
Uh, um, the but Lego thing, for me, it's just like this mindless thing that you can do with your hands, and and I like that brain space whenever I can.
Yeah, makes sense. I think I know where you're going to land on this one, but unpaid or underrated beater bars.
Where's Chip at?
Uh, Beater
Beat.
bars are unpaid. Yeah, I think they're fine. I don't really care about what you do in your gym. You know what I mean? Like if you want a beater bar,
Hmm.
fine. I just think they're I think that we do this thing sometimes where we're like, oh, I gotta have, if I gotta do this, I gotta have a beater bar because I got it, whatever. But I don't know that people really do put their barbells through as much as they think they're doing. Now I know if you're doing landmine stuff and you're doing something really dumb, like putting there are times where it's like I'm not putting my barbell through that. You know what I mean? Like my $700 barbell. But
I, I'm convinced most people, if they're doing landmine work, should have an axle bar for that rather than like a beater bar that's going to bend and
yeah,
twist and who
unless
knows
you're
what it's
doing
going to do.
rotational stuff. But I also think
Yeah.
that the number of people that have beater bars who have actually damaged their beater bar with whatever it is they're putting it through are pretty low. And so if your
Mhm.
$100 shitty beater bar can handle whatever it is, then I think whatever your rogue bar or whatever should be able to also. And if you're putting that one through it over and over and over again, every workout or every week or something like that, and it's still not fucking it up, then you probably don't need a beater bar for what you're doing. Do you know what I mean? But again, I
Mhm.
don't read what people do in their gyms. But yeah,
To me, the
yeah,
only thing I'd have a quote unquote beater bar for would be like rack pulls in a rack where I was going to bend it, or something like that. Like a rack pull off pins where you're going to be aggressively going.
Mhm.
Other than that, like I mean, I
yeah,
don't do landmine work in general, but like it is funny to think about beater bars too, because there's people that think would like some people. the amount of discrepancy between what someone would consider a beater bar versus another. Like some people wouldn't ever let a hex bar bolt bar into their gym. So
Yeah.
like the cheapest beater bar would be a $200 bar, and other
Well,
people would consider a $20 bar off Craigslist a beater bar. Where a lot of us wouldn't let that bar into our gym even as a beater bar.
Hmm.
there's that's my other point too. Like there was a while there where my beater bar was a stainless steel Rogue Ohio power bar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like that
It's
is
like
my
a
beater.
$500 beater bar
Right.
versus
That
like
that's
a $20
that
beater bar. So
right. Like this is
I think
my
my
beater
my beater
bar.
bar now is like a $300 Cerakote bar. Yeah.
I think it's usually a couple things. Usually it's you bought a cheap barbell and you can't really get rid of it. Like sometimes you have these that you really can't. It's not that, but it's like you bought a new bar, you don't really need the money that you're the 40 bucks or whatever that you're going to get for that other one, and so you just keep it in. But it's just like a thing to add to the collection to me. You know what I mean? It's like just another bar to own. But I have also seen people that are like, all right, I got my bar. I need to go get a beater bar. You know what I mean? It's like, well, I'm not going to go buy a fucking beater bar. You know what I
No,
mean? I
you
just,
need just
Hmm.
acquire one naturally if you really need
right.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, once you just appear in the corner next to the
Curl bar.
crowbar
Yeah,
lift
yeah,
by the
yeah. The
crowbar
chrome
Yeah.
curl bar.
Right. Yeah.
All right, got one more for you. Unpaid or underrated, taking a swig of pickle juice in between rounds of wrestling.
That came from my brother. You guys picked a bunch of my brothers. I always down for pickle juice. I was actually had this conversation oddly yesterday. I told someone about this and also the cold coffee and the cold beans. But they make pickle juice beers now, and I'll grab
Hmm.
one of those if I see one. I'm like, yep, give me that pickle juice one. So yeah, Grandpa wasn't right. I mean, I'm sorry, well, he wasn't right either, but he definitely wasn't wrong about that.
All right, I think
Did he
this is the
pass?
part where you get to turn the tables and play podcast host on us.
Well, yeah. Well, first we gotta let him know. I mean, he did pass. So we can't air the
Well,
episode.
just barely, just
Yeah, I mean,
barely.
it was touch and go there
By
for a second
the
when the
by the skin
tattoo
of his
gun
short.
fell short. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
And I do apologize to anyone, any of his friends and family listening that did submit. Like we covered maybe a quarter of what was suggested. It's just I we, Jason doesn't talk briefly, as in we can't ask him 900 questions. So asking him 20, will fill up a podcast. So we are, sorry if we didn't get to your questions.
You guys can ask me to my face.
Yeah, at Home Gym Con 2026.
Right. So I wasn't prepared
It's all
for.
good. No worries. Yeah, we always, if there's anything, even if we always let the guests get to know us a little bit better if they have anything they want to know about us or anything off the top of your head. I am going to challenge you as a podcast host, you ought to be able to ask Joey and I both one question of any capacity just to round this out. There's no way you can't do that.
Well, I answered all of the questions he had on
Yeah, I
his
mean,
last
well,
episode for Brent for
you're very
B.
fan. Yeah, I mean, well,
Yeah.
was it?
So
You like DM'd him basically the answers because he did like
no,
call you out asking
I
questions.
commented on the
okay.
YouTube.
Okay, okay, yeah, same difference, but yeah.
Well, actually, Joey, there is one question that you didn't answer.
Ooh.
Is that your grandma's cupboard, or is it like a gun safe, or is it like a gun safe that is disguised as grandma's cupboard? What is it?
Um,
There's
it's a cupboard that my wife got uh they think from a friend. Don't really remember exactly where it came from, but it had been like spray painted and plastic chains added to it to just make it look
Gothic.
more like something you would find in a dungeon.
Hmm.
And so it just ends up being the place where I store a bunch of extra stuff after like my other shelves that also store extra stuff are too full.
Right, right. Yeah, the ever-growing pile of shit, right? I've got like a shit closet.
Yeah.
Somehow
But
I can,
if you put it on a, in a cupboard or on a shelf, then it's organized and you're good to
right,
go.
for sure. Even if you have to stuff it all in there and do that every time you open the door, right? Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, well, that's cool, man. That has a very grandma's cupboard look to it. That's why I was like, what is
It
it?
does, it does.
It's cool. Keith, I do have a question for you, man. On you've got gym full of weight plates. Are they all like York milled, or do you have a collection that varies from milled to
Yep. So with my
cast?
daily drivers are all York milled. I've got like I don't have the spreadsheet in front of me, but it is thousands of pounds of York milled. I think there's 24, no, 39. I don't fuck. I've got dozens and dozens and dozens of pairs of 45s. I can't even think of how many it is right now. But so York milled is kind of like it was like a 30-year window. I don't have anything that was not made in USA. I don't have anything because there's like in the 90s they started stamping stuff USA because I think they were starting to import shit also. So there's a way to like it was their last little like clinging to American manufacturing, so they started putting USA on it. But at that point, they've already changed the mold, and it's like a half-inch smaller plate. So you can kind of so a lot of the gyms that have York milled plates are the newer air, like the local strongman gym I go to, full of York milled plates, but they're all like 30, they're not as old as mine because they all have the USA stamp on them, so not as collectible, still good weights. They just don't intermingle with the non-stamped ones as well. And even inside
Mhm.
of my collection, like you could tell somewhere over the years they either had a different mold on the 45s or they changed the mold a little bit because some you can get like I don't know. So if you look at your finger, you can get like the whole first knuckle of like your finger on it, and then other ones you can only get like half a knuckle on. So when you go to pick up the plate, it's literally like deeper or shallower. So it's kind of at some point, if I ever get that OCD, I want to like at least on the dead. Well, I don't know, like the deadlift. Basically, like there's got to be a place in the gym where it's more advantageous to have an easier to move plate. So probably not even I know I thought about this at one point. Maybe it was like the squat rack might be easier because they're actually having to like manipulate the plate more, but or if I ever had to sell off plates too, I'd make sure I sold off the ones that didn't have the deep lip. But then I have a bunch of deep dish plates, which are completely different, like from the 50s and 60s. But those are more wall hangers. Like I'll throw them on a bar once a year just to be like, oh, here's my $5,000 worth of plates that I only paid like $1,000 for, kind of thing over the course of a decade. But yeah, all my daily drivers, I spent literally 5 6 years converting everything from Cap over to York and then just growing the York collection. So everything, in my opinion, is considered York milled era because it's the same like 20, 30-year window. Even inside of that, some of the 25s are different from each other. Like I have a couple pairs that are like a quarter inch taller than the other ones. So like it drives me crazy that when they're on the plate tree, there's a little bit different. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, everything is technically, in my opinion, York milled. And then the only really discrepancy, I guess, really is I've got some that came to me painted different colors, so I had to strip them and repaint them black. So I try to like anything I've repainted for them. I basically have like 6 plate trees in my basement. I have one that is solely all repainted, and the rest are like 90 to 100% not repainted. And there's just some of the change plates are intermingled, but like all the painted 45s are on one tree, and then all the change plates are, and then there's some change plates intermingled throughout the rest of it because I don't have enough not repainted stuff to like just keep it all on one. But eventually, if I ever, I don't know. I used to always have the thought of like, oh, I want to sell all the painted plates and bring in more of the patina plates. I'm like, I'm not investing any more money in plates at this point. Like I've got so many thousands of dollars and my expendable my I used to make a lot of money selling stuff. I haven't made money. I haven't made any money on the gym in years really. And my side money from like overtime and shit has been dried up and I don't travel much anymore for work, so my per diem is non-existent because I used to put all that money toward the gym and like I've been seeing my gym fund go from like $10,000 to like $6,000 to like I'm in like single digit low like of money that I can consider gym money right now.
Mm.
But a lot of that's also tied up into like a high yield CD thing, so it's just making money to travel off of.
So you mentioned the casting, you measure the difference between the cast from one York to the other based on a knuckle measurement, one knuckle on one versus a half knuckle. Do you know how
How many
many how
horse
many
stall
grams
mats then?
how many grams of protein are in small curd cottage cheese, just a regular pint at one knuckle deep?
I do not. I do not. Dude, we'll have to ask Big Kurt. He's Big Kurt, and he probably knows all those things. But and then it's like, is it your knuckle or my knuckle or Joey's knuckle? Like, there's every finger is gonna vary. And is your finger a grower or a shower?
Well,
How cold is
I
it? What's
think
the
it's King
humidity?
George the Third's knuckle is the standard that was used.
Nice. All right. Well, that was good. I'm glad you hit us with a couple there to close that out. Anything else, Joey, before I start wrapping this up?
No.
Oh, I just realized I butchered. I wanted to put the affiliate ad earlier. I thought, oh no, no, we're good. Well, no, I did fuck that up. I wanted to note to self, fucking move the affiliate ads up before unpaid or underrated. So, the ones we didn't talk about so far Barbell Rescue, Big Kim, he likes to shit himself, just like Big Jason does. He's talked about that a couple times. Home Gym Con, come hang out and meet all four of us probably at Home Gym Con next year if Joey can make it out from the very very far west. Ashton Freedom Fitness Equipment, he's been at Home Gym Con every year. Good guy. He's helped Tommy get all that new flooring, helped Brandon get all his new flooring. I think if pretty much anyone that's getting new flooring right now is pretty much going to Ashton to get that good deal. Code unpaid, I hope to save you a couple percent there. And then Grant has that apparel from the Strength Co. Help him, keep closing that baby of his. Code unpaid at all those locations. I hope to save you a little bit of money. Big Jason, where are they going to find you at?
Wait, before we go
Uh-oh,
there,
what did I
want
do?
to throw a little bit of a curveball. One
Yeah,
more affiliate to throw in.
what you got?
MWPIG 5 saves 5% at Prime Fitness.
Ah, that's true. I did forget about that. That's a good one. That is and I do like you can tell that you're like how many good friends you have in the community because it's like I can't see that like I don't think there's a day that goes by that someone doesn't say that in the Facebook group. And a lot of times it's unrelated and it's more of a joke at this point, but it's also like it has to not I mean it can't hurt. I don't know how much money you've made off the affiliate. Actually, without going into too many details, do you think you've made enough money to even pay for the shipping on one of your bigger deliveries?
I have done very well with
Oh,
that. Uh,
really? Oh, that's actually good to hear then. That's
it has just
That's
been
awesome.
it's been a long time since it's been a long time, but even since the beginning of it to now, I still think when you take in all things considered, I don't have a big following. I don't have a big outreach. I don't make a lot of like that kind of content and stuff. And I really do, but I've done really well with that. I mean, there was a time there, like at home Gym Con, even like Jared, I've had convers. Jared is the like VP, CEO, whatever of Prime, and I've talked with him. He's told me like you're like Man Who Parks and Gym link code, whatever, has been my number one affiliate for X number of months.
oh wow.
Uh, he was like, and then he was like, of course, when Garage Gym Radio and Gluck and stuff like he was like he's like now it's like you're the third biggest whatever, but those guys all have like a million follows and they all have what I mean. It's like they all have they've got
Yeah, you're like
websites,
sub 10,000 on everything, so it's or
we've
thereabouts.
got
They've got the
3,400
targeted audience.
3,400 followers on Instagram, right? And so I've had these conversations like with Gluck, like before Gluck was an affiliate at Prime, he was asking me a bunch of questions and stuff about it and stuff, and I was kind of giving him my experience
Mhm.
with being an affiliate there. And I mean, like I'm not like there was once where Brandon had made a comment about how they had turned him down, or whatever, and I sent him the information. It's like at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Like you know, so so I had kind of given him some of my perspective of working with Prime and stuff and things, and I forgot I just lost my train of thought on that. But I don't remember where I was going.
How they paid your mortgages.
But sorry, no, but they were talking about, or Gluck specifically was like, I've never made a dime on Instagram, and I was like, well, maybe not directly, but indirectly. It's like I'm only on Instagram. At this time, I hadn't even, I couldn't have even imagined making a video and putting it on YouTube and my people I work with seeing it or something. You know what I mean? But like,
but
I was
but you'll
like,
dox yourself.
but I was like, everything that I attribute everything that I've done, everything that I've received in this affiliation thing to things that I have done either through Facebook, like, you know, it's not just about posting memes. It's about what I'm doing on the
Mhm.
back side. You know what I mean? And that's where the like Jared from Prime or whatever has come to me and be like, I see what you're doing outside of this, and people will come and they will tell me, like, I get feedback about you. He's like, I've used you as an example in like my sales meetings with my sales staff, and I'm like, oh, I bet they fucking love that. You know what I mean? Like, because he's like, you're just you're not, he's like, you're part of the community, you're answering questions, it's not just Prime stuff, it's whatever, and people come to you for this and that and whatever, and you've developed this kind of reputation in the community or whatever. And I'm like, I don't, that's not anything I've like done. I'm not intent, it's not like an intention, like when you see, sometimes you'll see people, there's an affiliation, people get an affiliation and they're like, hey, here's a picture of my rotate handles, use my code or whatever. And I know I do that too. I know I do.
Yeah.
But like
I
that's
think you're probably
just
answering at least one or two DMs every day about something Prime, I can imagine.
Hmm.
Like, and or publicly
never,
on, I
yeah,
mean,
never less than that.
okay, yeah. So
But
that's, I mean,
it's not
that's
just
time.
even
That's like an hour. That's minimum an hour a week.
my
Like, it's
family
gotta be.
hates me, dude, because I will just straight
It
up
sounds like more
somebody
than, sounds a lot more
ask
than a
something.
few hours a
I
week
will
then.
jump up. I will jump up middle of dinner, whatever I'm doing, drop what I'm doing, go out and like record a video. Somebody be like, "Hey man, do you know if do the cables run this way, whatever?" I'll go out and I'll record a video and I'll say, "You need to, you want to start with this one. You'll need this wrench. You'll move this. It goes up around here. You've got to go through this. Don't pay attention to do this first because if you don't, then you'll have to do whatever. Go through all that stuff. And it's like that's the shit. And then people
Hmm.
then there's like people will refer you and things like that, and so it's like I know, and it's not everybody does, and I don't care, it's like whatever. But so when I see that in the group, when I see people sharing my code and things like that. And I know that sometimes it's a joke, it's funny, and that was intentional too. You know what I mean? For me, it's like the if I can make this meme a thing and then get people to where it's
But then
in
it
their
does
mind.
subconsciously, like,
Well,
even
yeah,
if it, yeah, someone's gonna,
it's advertising, man. You know
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
But
It's
yeah, but then
guerrilla
also
marketing.
there are people who are like, man, I do this because you're like the OG and you're this and that, whatever, and you've been helpful in this way. So it's also organic, and it is something that gives me a little sense of pride in that, for sure. And there have been some that I've seen do that, and I've been like, man, I really appreciate. I see this, I see what you're doing, and you're helping me, and I can't ever track it back, but I see what you're doing, and I've hooked people up in whatever ways that I can. I mean, I don't have access to like free shit at Prime or anything like that, but I can out of my pocket, out of my earnings that I've gotten from that, I've thrown gift cards at people and stuff like that for efforts that I've seen and
Well, that
stuff.
actually leads me to a question then. So, unless I'm mistaken, you don't have any Man Who Parks and Gym stickers yet, do you?
I don't.
You got to get on that, and
I know. I was
it's
actually
gonna be,
on.
it's gonna annoy you because you're gonna have to fuck. Well, do you have a high? So I would honestly pay your high school daughter to make up all the envelopes and just pay her like even I mean $5 per would suck, but like you're gonna fuck if you start doing it and you have to send out fucking like 100 stickers. You're gonna hate yourself because it's just
Yeah.
fucking it's frustrating and annoying, but it's really cool to see your stickers in other people's gyms. Like that's really cool to see, but like. I would almost like sub it
Unless you
out
have
to
an
one of your.
envelope printer,
Right.
then you can do like a mail merge in Excel or something.
Yeah, I'm sure you can get nerdy with it, but like handwriting out fucking envelopes is fucking annoying. It
Yeah.
gets old quick.
Yeah.
But getting other people's stickers, I know you. I don't. I know you've evolved a lot of like your gym decor. So if you end up starting a sticker wall, definitely make it something that's just like movable and like just like a
Right.
poster board or something like that. But I'm not sure how much that you want to get into. But I think I would like especially now you've been playing with your logos. You've got literally, I think you've got it kind of fine tuned into what you want your brand to be for your personal stuff. So I think at least I challenge you by next year, home gym con at least have some stickers, even if it's just
Yeah.
a minimum in person thing.
I've
Uh,
had I've had thoughts of that. I've actually gone on several different websites and stuff to create some different ones and put in different ideas and stuff. And like I will do that. I've thought about how I want to do it and stuff. And my plan was to try to start building up some and then kind of give them out at Home Gym Con and stuff and
Nice.
do both
Well,
some Man Who Parks and Gym and some rep stuff. Like I
nice.
got I got a really cool
Nice.
tattoo tattoo one for, and so I was like, oh man, I could get like some little temporary tattoos made. You know what I mean? Like repeat temporary tattoos would be pretty sweet. Stuff like that. I've been hemorrhaging a lot of cat room that I'm sitting in.
Yeah, I feel that. But like, I mean, wait for the holiday sale at Plate Snacks, and it's usually 20% off, or do code unpaid literally, tonight or tomorrow, and you get that 10% off right alone. It'll help save you a little bit of money. There's tons of people who make stickers, but I can attest that I've been mailed probably 10 different company stickers, and Plate Snacks are the only ones that don't suck for trying to turn into magnets and
Oh
like just
yeah,
like
yeah,
the thickness of it, the sheen. It's just you have some options on matte and flat and glossy or whatever the fuck. But
right.
I don't know. I'll always push code unpaid for Plate Snacks just because it's
Yeah,
it helps us a little bit. But it's also like it's legitimately a better sticker than most of the ones that I see. Like
Hmm.
some people have like handed me like the cheap Amazon stickers, and I've used to my first batch of stickers was like fucking 6 or 7 years ago, and they were like shitty ones from Amazon, and like you can tell what sucks and what doesn't suck. But
Yeah.
I think magnets are the rave now. Like I want to look into doing magnets, but like I also don't want to get into paying $2 or $3 a magnet to
They
then
get
ship them out, and then
they
that
get
gets
expensive.
obnoxious.
And when I priced them out for my MWPIG, I was going to do some magnets, and it was like I just didn't even get as far as the proof because I couldn't get it to cut the way that I wanted it to on the site, and I was like,
Mm.
I don't want to spend money and not like it or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're about stuff.
But I think
So
that does sound like it's it's on your radar, and
yeah,
you know you're gonna go back to Home Gym Con at this point. So yeah, if you don't have Home Gym Con stickers, definitely you got to buy us a beer. Or sorry, if you don't have stickers by Home Gym Con, you got to buy everyone there around a beer because that's the challenge.
right.
Well, that's the affiliates. Jason, where are they gonna find you at other than Home Gym Con with stickers?
So Instagram, man who parks in gym, and also rep, rent, repeat, and then also YouTube, man who parks in gym or MWPIG, and also rep, rent, repeat is also under the garage.
Beautiful. Big Joy, where you at?
On Instagram, Joey_Malesko, MLECZKO. Go follow my orange Jim, the no wine cellar.
Good stuff. So we've got an Instagram, Unpaid and Underrated Podcast. We got the website, unpaidinternpodcast.com. We got a YouTube over there. I am Keith Honeycutt 73 on Instagram. More importantly, go follow Big Joey E on Instagram at Big Joey E on Instagram. I'm sure if you just type in Big Joey or Joey, if you just type in Joey Echeverria, yeah. So this would be like Joey Echeverria. Yeah, sorry, that's like the seventh week in a row I've mispronounced a Spanish word of some sort, I believe. So
Hmm.
I'm on a ball there. And someone even who was it, Kurt last week or a couple weeks ago, he was like, "Oh, I didn't want to correct you." And I'm like, "You can correct me, like, 'cause I'm never offended by being wrong. Like, I don't want to be the asshole that says stuff wrong. So please correct me if I say something wrong." Uh, well, everyone
Uh,
except Joey. I don't. Joey can fuck off. Stop correcting me. But everybody other than my co-host can correct me when I say something wrong. um, with that, we'll see you next Tuesday.